show. Convertible now, let's go for a ride. There's a party on the radio. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wow, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Yeah. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wow, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike.
All right, good morning and welcome in. Happy Thursday. Whoa, Thursday. It's Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, the Zone mobile app, the Zone radio network. Connor Happer alongside Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola. Hi, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, gents.
Good morning, Connor. Good morning, Joey.
Joey, how we doing today? How we doing?
We made it to Thursday.
Yeah,
We're here.
But what's Thursday?
Football. Football's back.
He reminded me with his graphic this
Yeah,
morning.
no,
I genuinely
stared at
had no
that.
idea.
I was like, the Panthers have some news. And I had to think about it some more.
He even
I was
named
like,
the
oh.
show, Did Someone Say Football?
Someone could potentially be the third string quarterback today and then end up as a tight end elsewhere and have a storied career.
Sure.
And that's what someone else could remember about that person.
That's
years
true.
Later.
And that wasn't even the
Those
Hall of
three-
Fame game.
Those 3 games, that particular preseason.
You just never know what people are going to remember.
You might get a 2-minute highlight reel from that particular preseason.
Did you hear about our rule that we enacted a couple days ago, Joey? If the game is started by Kenny Pickett, it's not an actual game.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, well,
yeah, we did determine that.
yeah, sorry.
Kenny Pickett games post Pitt, I think we'll count his
Yeah,
Pitt
Kenny
career.
Pickett's time at Pitt was fun.
But beyond that, we just don't think they should really count towards football.
Wait,
in
so,
general.
And
so
Carson Beck is the Arizona starting quarterback tonight, I believe.
who's the backup quarterback for the Panthers then? If
Tonight?
it's the third string, who's the backup quarterback? Like, who's between Bryce Young and Kenny Pickett?
Let's see. Panthers depth chart. It's going to surprise everyone. Oh, it says on the internet, it says on ESPN that Kenny Pickett is second string.
Wow. So who's
So
behind him?
Not a third string.
Haynes King.
Okay.
Yeah, get Haynes King
That
out
could
there.
be the next Taysom Hill.
Now, if Haynes King goes in the game tonight, which he definitely will, I could watch him run around a little bit.
Sure.
I could have some fun watching Haynes King tonight.
Do you wish preseason games were more just like completely
Just college.
different offenses than what the teams actually run?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Definitely.
they're just out there running the veer for no reason.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really notice what offense anyone's running in a preseason. I may have only seen about 4 plays of a preseason game over
That
the last
can't be
about
true.
6 years.
Well, 6 years. Okay. You invariably, you run into it somehow. You're somewhere. There's a television.
They're weirdly
on.
not on TV. Like they're on like local TV. There's a couple that are nationally, like there's a couple on
There's
NFL
one
Network.
Saturday or Sunday where I feel like they'll put them on NFL Network. They'll put them on.
Yeah,
They'll put them on CBS and Fox
They'll put
too.
them even over on doesn't ABC have like a preseason game or something every now and then?
I don't
There's
really
some
think
over-the-air
so. I know
channel.
Fox. I know
Maybe it's just
Fox,
Fox.
Amazon Prime, CBS, and I think NBC's only game will be tonight's game. But then you got the local networks who will carry the games. Like
right.
KTV will do Packers and Vikings. KMTV will broadcast, I think, the Broncos. Then 3 News Now or no.
But that's normally
Broncos is Fox 42.
But
then.
that's normally on the weekends. I'm not just perusing network television during the day on the weekend.
You never know what you're doing on a weekend.
I know I'm not doing that. I know I'm not just sitting around watching
You might come in
CBS at
from mowing
2:30.
and be like, I'm just wiped out. I got to lay down here for a minute. Then you put on your television.
At which point
And you're
there'd probably
bouncing around.
be a baseball game on.
That's
to
true.
watch. Speaking
You
of,
watch the Guardians and the White Sox play a horrible series this weekend.
I might do that. The Royals and the Cubs play this weekend.
Okay.
Did you know that?
The Cubs are red hot. All they're
Awesome.
doing is beating the Dodgers.
Perfect time. They're coming into Kansas City to cool off
Okay.
because the
Some people
Royals
going on Sunday.
The Royals are only 9 games out of a playoff spot. 9 games. That's not that bad.
Cleveland was out more games at the beginning of September and won the division.
Wasn't Detroit out more games last year or a couple years ago when they made it?
I don't know if it was more than 9, but it was in that territory.
Now they weren't 19 games below 500.
Now,
but,
yes, they were not.
You never know. You never know. So maybe it begins now. I was just looking at tickets for this weekend just in case I wanted to sneak down there, and I'm not doing that.
It's just going to be full of Cubs fans.
Exactly.
Like I said, I know several going Sunday.
I'm not doing that. By the way, speaking of baseball, we get a comment from YouTube. Here's Sal. Schaefer, any comment on Jeffrey Jan's mound behavior?
Well, Sal, Happer asked me the same thing when we saw the highlight.
I did. In fact, I said, are you triggered?
And the answer was no. I said I was more triggered by the fact Cleveland didn't manage to even win the game. They're up 5-4. You have your closer in the 9th, and your shortstop boots the ball to allow the game to be tied.
Tough luck losing to the
then
Mets.
You do what you do best, and you don't score runs in the extra innings, and you lose. So it's more important to me than Jeffrey Jan's very active celebration.
Yeah, I'm impressed more than anything.
Yeah, same. I mean, to hit that.
He's floating in the sky.
Right.
I've seen this guy. I've seen clips of him cut up from the minor leagues. I just figured we would never see him in the major leagues.
Sure.
Just because I didn't understand the context of what he was good at or if he was good at baseball at all. I just knew that he was jumping around. But man,
you just knew him as Jumping Jeffrey.
Yeah, he came into the major leagues and all of a sudden he is flying up in the air. I mean, that is awesome.
Look, well, the Mets traded everybody in their bullpen, so they needed some reinforcements.
They did.
It makes sense, and good for him. I mean, first career strikeout, that's more than some people will ever have.
So you'd like to see him jumping around more against the Cleveland Guardians?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be against the Guardians. They only have one more game against the Mets, and I'm not sure he'll pitch tomorrow or today here on Thursday.
He could.
It's possible. He is in the bullpen. If he's jumping around, I am not bothered.
Okay.
It does not bother me at all. I can't, on one hand, support bat flips, and then on the other hand, be upset if people over celebrate a strikeout.
Okay.
So I'm okay with it.
All right. There you go. That's Mike
Put it on the
Schaefer's
internet.
official comment on the jumping pitcher, as we're calling him. The jumping pitcher.
The jumping pitcher.
The guy that goes into the sky. All right. So today on the show, we have a lot of things to cover. And Brian Christopherson is going to join coming up at 8:30. Max Olson will join us in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll talk some Husker football, of course, as we regularly do. I don't think we have a follow-up topic on the Dylan. Actually, one thing on the Dylan Raiola.
Oh, no.
Someone sent me
We're on day 3 of Dylan Raiola Cornfield.
It was only a mention 2 days ago. Yesterday, we set the whole segment on it. So, okay, that definitely counts. Today, I don't even know if it counts.
Okay.
All right, this is it.
This is it.
I saw.
You were listening to the audio before the show, and I was like, where are we going to go?
This is it. Somebody sent me a video of Coach Jason Brown. Do you remember Coach Jason Brown?
Oh, I remember Jason Brown.
Independence
Our
Community
guest,
College.
915 was on the show.
That is true.
Jason Brown.
That is true. Yes, he was on Last Chance U that one time. Have you seen this clip?
Mm-mm.
He was not happy about Dylan Raiola's comments
regarding the cornfield.
He was just repeatedly telling him and vulgarly telling him to shut up a lot. And
is this a clip of him watching the clip and then responding to?
You got it. I'll show it to you during the break.
This is manufactured, created reaction.
No, I actually think he has anger management problems.
Well, there's no question.
So I think that reaction from him was pretty genuine.
Yeah.
But he's obviously trying to, he's sitting there smoking a cigar and having a cocktail. And he's and his podcast guys are like, hey, check out this. And he lost his mind.
What
I'm
year?
Dude, imagine losing your mind over this. This is crazy.
What year do you think you'd cover that kind of ground in the influencer class at Arizona State that you can major in now?
Yeah.
Do you think that's like a junior year kind of thing?
They should have Jason Brown. They should have Jason Brown do a class.
It'd be called Aura Maxing with Jason Brown.
Yeah, that's what he would call it anyway.
Yeah.
I would call it idiot maxing. But
that's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. I'll show you that during the break. That
All
could
right.
be fun. There you go.
Is
That's
it
my
a break only kind of clip?
It most certainly is.
That seems like Jason Brown's cup of tea.
It most certainly is. He was yelling and yelling and yelling. Also, it's Thursday, and so we will have a little round of I Have an Opinion today. Send us your opinions wherever you'd like to get in touch with the show. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet us at Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed, or at Connor Happer at Mike J. Schaefer there as well. Email Connor, Mike, or Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers today.
Good morning, streamers.
Good morning, streamers. We appreciate you. Don't put it on the internet that we don't appreciate.
Yeah, the morning show loves the streamers to chat.
Yes.
There was some discussion yesterday.
There was a full-on
that
audit.
we don't love the chat. We spent a good amount of time talking about things that were happening on the chat that don't happen in reality.
Hopefully you get entertainment out of us, and we definitely get entertainment
100%.
out of you. So we love the chat. Don't put it on the internet that we don't love the chat. There was a full-on audit of all the shows yesterday. How much does each show love the chat?
Wow.
And apparently, according to the chat, we came in last.
Man, I don't know.
I disagree.
I think we show a lot of love to the chat.
Josh, I will say Josh Peterson loves the chat.
Yeah.
He loves the chat. He loves the chat more than callers, which I couldn't even imagine.
He is the best at interacting with listeners while doing a show at the same time.
I know. There's too much.
It is an incredible skill. I've watched him do it in a multitude of ways, and I don't have that in me.
There's too much going on.
Yeah, there's always too much going on.
So, yeah, if you ever like reach out to the show and you're like, hey, why don't you read this comment? Number one, because we're not going to read every single comment because not all of them are, helpful to the show. And number two, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's our own incompetency. Maybe if there was 4 more people who we just had like on all these podcasts that exists in the world now, like they have just 4 guys doing one single job that Joey's doing, or one single job that I'm doing, or one single job that you're doing. We're all doing like 4.
Could you imagine if Joey
then we would be good. We would read all the comments and we would get everything.
Can you imagine how many graphics Joey would have cooked up every show if the only thing that he was focused on was graphics and social media?
If there was just a graphic,
like he also wasn't producing the stuff with the board, making sure we stay on air,
screening,
having
calls,
to clean up after the
adopting
night show.
Accountability. He's constantly writing down all the things that we do wrong.
Yeah.
Like he has to do all of that. Plus he makes graphics. Plus apparently he already got the tree stuff up for
I heard
for the
about
promos.
This. Yeah. He's definitely number one out of the producers at churning promos.
Yeah, there's no question.
Apparently I'm number one in the morning show producer rankings from John Bishop. They did some morning show producer rankings.
Oh really? I didn't hear this.
Yeah,
of all time?
They only listed 3 people, and
I think there's only actually ever been 3 people.
I was going to say I only know of 3.
Yeah. So
and someone affiliated with the morning show since its creation.
It is a high honor. You should be, very happy.
And the reasoning behind that, according to Josh Peterson, are the graphics.
Well,
as I said, you would have even more time for
take
graphics.
that title.
But you're busy doing everything else.
Exactly. So if we split Joey into like 6 Joeys, we would have an incredible show.
Yes.
But we can't do that. And we still have an okay show.
Like Joey 1, Joey 2, Joey 3.
Yeah. Have you seen all these podcasts? They have 40 producers.
Yeah, no, it's you listen to the end of a really heavily produced podcast, and they're like thinking they're sound engineers, and they're thinking they're like 7 production people.
We here in the radio business have generally never done anything without just like showing up, talking into a microphone, having one person to be there and make sure we stay on air. And literally that's it.
I just push the buttons and make sure you guys turn on your microphones.
Thank you.
That simple formula launched every podcast that's ever existed.
I know. And then they mocked us by hiring too many people.
Yep.
And putting it on video. And then we had to catch up to them, which I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah, Joey has to run the stream. That's what Joey 7 could do.
Joey 7 could run the stream.
He really
could. I run the breaks as well.
Joey 8 could go outside and make sure no cats are just hanging around in the parking lot.
Joey 9 could go up to Minnesota and keep an
Joey
update.
9 would be the most
No
incompetent.
Joey 9. There's only
Nobody
Joey
wants
8.
Joey 9.
We just skip Joey 9 and go straight to Joey 10. All right.
I don't even trust
Joey
Joey
10
9 to protect the parking lot.
Joey 10 will be Joey Love.
Also, today on the show, we'll mention a couple guys from camp that you may or may not need to know about. Also, oh my goodness, if you guys don't like Husker football Kool-Aid, can I interest you in Husker basketball Kool-Aid?
Did you hear the noise I was making from Bennington when
Yes.
I read this story yesterday?
I saw your comment and you said, "Oh my God," like all caps, and I clicked on it and I said, "Whoa, oh wow, that is a high opinion."
I was unprepared.
Wow,
Unprepared for this entire thing to happen.
that is a high opinion of Nebraska basketball. So we will get into that as we go on throughout the show today. Appreciate you guys being with us. As always, it's just the three of us. Joey
Just
won,
the three
Mike
of us.
won, Connor won. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, once again, welcome back. It is Thursday, which means I Have an Opinion is coming up at 8 o'clock. We are excited for that. We have already received an opinion about football on the text line, so you could send them in there.
Football
A
opinion.
football-related opinion.
I think old man Doug, sent in opinions on Monday. We're going to have to make sure we go back and check our emails.
Old man Doug?
Yep. He sent in August 3rd. He sent in, I have an opinion.
Oh, wow. Is it about somebody's lack of knowing how to drive?
It's not about driving at all. It's about, it'd be about driving if you're a quarterback driving down the field. It's a quarterback-related opinion.
All right, let me flag that and make sure we have it. And so Doug doesn't get mad at us. We will get to his opinion.
Yeah, we don't want Doug mad at us.
For sure. Okay, so get those in. 8 o'clock. It'll be here before you know it. I was reading a little bit about the quotes from Nebraska's, because they only had the three guys up at the podium the other day, and all the other guys were off to the side. And apparently a consistent theme amongst the rest of the guys was this Rob Orich guy. He's pretty good. So we've spent some time over the last couple of days talking about, what kind of football team they're going to be. And I think it reached a different point yesterday. We were talking about it with Sam, and he was like, I think they need to score points and offense and this and this and this and this. I mean, this is the question that I think we need to get answered or figure out, where it's going to go before we get any further down the line. And before I get any further down the line and predicting how good they're going to be this year. I think they need to be, and I think they have the path to be so much better at defense this year, but they do have to lean into it a little bit, in my opinion.
You and I are in lockstep on this in large part because I think the best case scenario for them is that you get that sort of 2023 bounce out of guys that you weren't sure how good they could be, specifically up front. Again, it's easy to remember what Ty Robinson was like at the end of 2024. It's harder to remember that going into 2023, everyone was terrified of the defensive line, its depth, all of these things. And then Nash Hutmaker and Ty Robinson in a new system were completely different players.
Yep.
And I'm not saying you're going to get that for sure with Riley Van Poppel and Jashir Whittington and Cade Petchock and Cam Lenhart and Williams Winery and everyone else. I just think that they have an opportunity to bounce back up front that can help sort of dictate everything else. And this defense has been packaged and taken to Idaho. It's been packaged and taken to San Diego State. So it's not like Rob Arch doesn't understand how to teach a new group of players how to play with this. Those players had immediate results, different level, different, overall play than the Big Ten. But there's just a lot in here that I like about the situation defensively. And this comes back to what we have talked about or talked around a lot, which is one of the things that has to happen if Nebraska is going to reach any level of success under Matt Rule is there has to be an understanding of who your football team is and how you are best going to go about and try to win a football game.
Yep.
Because if we have to score points, then they have to be aggressive. They have to go for it on 4th and short like they have been doing, but they need to start getting it.
And I think this is what we mean by this is what I was sort of thinking of, the ballpark that I was thinking of when we're talking about reset. I mean, not only you've had some change in the coaching staff, the fact that you don't know, that we don't have a definitive answer to that question that you just asked, Schaefer, going into this season, which is year 4, by the way, that should tell you it's up in the air of where they're going to go, and they need some sort of a reset. I think they had the reason that I love this staff at first, and the reason why you love Rule at first, is because he could not be more sure of himself. He could not be more sure of himself and how it was not just in the results. Frost was we're going to win a bunch of games, so you better get us now. Rule was no, here's the way we want to play, and here's the way we want to build it. And I'm going to give you examples because we've done exactly the same thing multiple times before. And it worked. And it wasn't just that they won those games, it was how they built it up during that time. And we were on that track in 2023, and we got off it. And now I think the right way to do it is get back on the same track. not continue diverting and finding these other tracks that are floating somewhere else.
And for us, that track largely looks like you're a defensive-oriented team that, your offense, it's not that you're not trying to score points. Like, I think that needs to be mentioned here. It's that you are playing in a certain way to try to complement what it is that you're doing defensively. It is, you are judicious on making some decisions. You're not trying to put the ball in harm's way a lot, but you're also great on special teams. You're able to set things up for yourself defensively. You can, allow the defense to kind of set the tone. When you made the shift in 2024, and this is a big discussion, the big what if and everything else, that you're going to go have Dylan Raiola. And this is why I don't think that it's such a weird thing. I don't think they're going to lean into defense because they have Trey Taylor waiting in the wings as their next 5-star quarterback. And so much of the offseason was, we got to get these pass catchers. We got to get this. And it does not feel like they're leaning towards defense. But I agree with you. I'd much rather them steer in the direction of, we want to get this fixed on defense, play through that, and build the offense along. Be a power running game, have some quarterback run game, work in play action, all of this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like that's where they're headed.
I don't know that that's my preferred method, like in general, but I think it's my preferred method for them.
Well, it's 100% my preferred method in general, but I am someone who's probably a little bit more used towards,
look at you.
I'd love to have a really good
You're
defense.
a defense guy.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I feel like those teams have the better ability to more likely win football games. Like having
probably for Nebraska. Like
the way Nebraska's set up, sure.
Yeah. I would think that that's probably the way to go. And which is why I thought that was the right idea at first. So I heard him talking about this yesterday on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. And I think it was Jed who texted in and he said, you remember when Rule got here, the idea was 40 sacks and 20 takeaways, I believe it was, or I don't know.
I think that's right.
It was definitely 40 sacks. And so I started tracking this at the time. And there's only been one time two times in Rule's head coaching career prior to arriving at Nebraska where his teams have had 40 sacks. And those were a 10-win team at Temple and then the 11-win team at Baylor in 2019. And they just sort of steadily improved every year. Now, these are different circumstances. And by the way, Nebraska, before Rule got here, and I tracked it back to 2013, they didn't have 40 sacks one single time.
Right, yeah. Nebraska, famously in the last 20 years.
They haven't even reached 30 once since 2014.
Yeah, I believe that.
38. Now, that was before Rule got here. Rule, in year one, 2023, Rule's team had 32 sacks. Last year, 2024, it was 30 sacks, and I hadn't updated my spreadsheet yet, so I checked it.
It was 12.
For last year, it was 22.
Yeah, it felt low.
I thought you actually, but yeah, it was 22. It was
not even 2 a game.
So we're talking about explosive plays and then turnovers. So I've also tracked the sack margin. How much sacks are you giving up compared to how many you're getting? And that's another consistent thing that really stood out amongst his really good teams. At Temple in 2016, they were plus 11 in the sack margin category. So they sacked 11 more times than they were sacked. And then in 2019 at Baylor, they were plus 8 in that margin. Every year for Nebraska since 2017, before Rule got here, so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, they were negative in the sack margin, all the way down to minus 10 in 2017, which you could imagine why that team sucked. Bo had some really good teams in that category because they always won in these kind of margins. The bottom line is Nebraska needs to get more explosive on the defensive end.
Agreed.
And they think they have the guy to get them to that point. And in order to think that they're going to make that jump to being a more explosive group this year, you have to believe that they have the personnel in order to do so. And I think they do, because I think last year was so far off the rails that it's a bad, you can't judge the personnel, the individual players, based off of the results of last year. That's the way I'm thinking about it. And so I don't think they have like a 10, 12 sack guy. I think it's going to be by committee a little bit. But if they could get another, if they could get back to 32 sacks in 2023, if they could get back to that number, their leading sack guy that year individually was Jamari Butler with 5.5, which is not that many. They did it by committee that year too. If they could get back there, force a couple turnovers, all of a sudden we're talking about a gigantic improvement on defense. And then that changes the math and the formula for the offense as well.
And the thing that I think is most notable here is as you discuss all of this, it's not like these are impossible things for them to do.
No.
Being incrementally better up front or having, a little bit more threat to get home with your pass rush.
It bottomed out last year, 22 sacks.
Right. Like less than 2 sacks a game is really poor. I mean, and that includes the games in which you play the bad teams or the worst teams on your schedule where you should theoretically feast on it.
22 sacks was only lower in recent Nebraska history, only higher, than 2017, 2020, which they only played 8 games, and then 2 better than 2021 and 1 better than 2022.
Yeah, so this has been a consistent issue for Nebraska, which nobody that has followed,
but not with Rule. Last year is an aberration for Rule's defenses.
It was
even
the first
here
year
in
you
Nebraska.
went away from Tony White, Terrence Knighton, and so
there's reason to believe that
they went out and they got a defensive coordinator who has had success with creating pass rush.
Yep.
And so that's why I think it's fair to assume he's going to have success with it again, particularly early in the season when you're playing teams that you should have the ability to get after the quarterback a little bit more.
I think they're going to jump back. I don't know how far it's going to jump back, but what they've been in the two out of the 3 years, 2023 and 2024, is a 30+ sack team. Not terribly explosive as far as the turnovers are concerned. I'm doing sacks, turnovers, takeaways, I believe, and then I also have a page on here for third down conversions. Wow, I need to update this spreadsheet, which they were also famously horrible at.
Horrendous.
Like
in any sort of measure of impact defensively, they were bad.
I think we have enough information to call last year a one-off for Rule's defenses.
I would agree.
But in order to think that it's going to bounce back, they have to commit to it again, right? They have to say the same things that they were saying going into 2023, his first year, which is we are a defensive team. If they say that, like I think it's going to bounce back quite simply. I don't know, like they're going to need, more and more from their offense and whatever, but that was last year was the defensive aberration for Rule really ever, with the exception of his first disaster year at Baylor, which is, which tanks a lot of his coaching stats in general. That was a bad situation.
One of the things that always stands out to me on this is they will be intentional about being more aggressive. So these numbers are all going to be better.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be more aggressive than what Nebraska was last year, where at some point John Butler felt like their best path to success was being more passive. And this defense just on a base level will be more aggressive than that. So all of those numbers should go up. What ultimately matters is, will you have a guy or two breakthrough? Will Williams Nwaneri be a 6-sack guy? Can Riley Van Poppel, Jashir Whittington, Owen Stoudemire, any of those, can you get an interior defensive pass rush? Because if you can do that, then you're going to have some other guys that can chip in too. You're going to get some stuff from your edge rushers. You're going to get some linebacker blitzing. You're going to get Owen Chambliss coming through the middle, these sorts of things. But you've got to be able to just get a guy or two has to just sort of come through and break out. And it's important what you said earlier with Jamari Butler leading them in 2023 at 5.5.
It doesn't have to be one guy.
So it doesn't have to be this like astronomical number. But it would be helpful if you had one guy that you're like, this guy's really good at generating a pass rush.
And there's examples in Rule's, like in Rule's career, where he's had one guy who's had, 12 sacks. And
James Lynch.
James Husker Lynch. Yeah, 13 and a half sacks in
I
2019.
appreciate you putting the Husker in.
And then he's had examples of where they've done it by, they've done it by committee, sort of. Hassan Reddick had 10 and a half to lead Temple in 2016. That's a guy he talks about sort of all the time. But then they've done it by committee sort of as well. There was one more thing that I was going to mention here. Oh, yeah. Just a refresh. Last year, Nebraska's leading sack getter was Javen Wright. 3 sacks.
Yeah.
3.0.
Not good enough.
Now, that's extremely by committee. But, so they had 12 guys with at least 1.0 sacks last year. And then when you combine the TFLs,
Do you track TFLs?
I haven't tracked it on this spreadsheet.
I was just going to look up because last year I think was horrendously low for TFLs.
It was, it was most certainly horrendously low. So basically you got Javen Wright was your top guy in just explosive plays defensively. He had 12 TFLs plus sacks. So he had 9 TFLs, 7.5 for Shavers, 7 for Petschok, 5 for Winery, and 5 for Desan McCullough. And then there's a bunch of guys in the 4-3-2 sort of range. Like those, I don't think I'm going out on that much of a limb and saying those numbers are going to come up this year. I really believe that. And that's a great start to get back to kind of what you thought you were going to be defensively. But yeah, it bottomed out last year from a variety of different angles. We'll take a quick break. If you guys have any thoughts on that, let us know. 402-951-1620. Also, tweet at us on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. We'll take your comments there and on the YouTube stream as well. We are back with another college football preview after this on 1620 The Zone. Just one final thing on the explosiveness conversation. So I updated my spreadsheet. Now I could see it in context with everything else. Think about how, I don't know what the word is, docile this team was. It's just like nothing.
Docile is how you describe an 8-year-old golden retriever that pads to the door but doesn't have that much enthusiasm for whoever's coming through.
Yeah, he's very, very comfortable.
Which is not what you want your defense to be.
So sacks, 22, like I said, 22 sacks last year, which was the lowest, as we talked about, for a rural coach team since, gosh, they even had more at Baylor in 2017. It's the second lowest total for a rural coach team ever, total sacks, behind 2013 Temple, his very first year as a head coach. It was minus 11 in the sack margin, and then I updated the turnovers. So they only gained 13 total turnovers last year, 1 turnover a game. That's, turnovers received. And they turned the ball over 11 times. So they were +2. 11 times is not 11 turnovers offensively is the lowest in 10 plus years at Nebraska.
Yeah.
And then they were only +2 in the turnover category.
This is why I feel like
margin.
failed fourth down should count as a turnover.
Yeah, they did a lot of those.
Because it felt like they had about 12 of those.
They have been, yes.
So then you're minus 10.
Absolutely.
Which seems a lot more accurate. Now you'd have to account for how many fourth down stops Nebraska had, which seems like it was -5. So now you're actually minus 15 for some reason.
Tilo says, was it also his worst run defense, like rushing yards?
Has to be.
I'm going to guess probably. But that is another thing that could be another page on my spreadsheet. All right. Let's get some balls out, Schaefer. Let's see what we got going today. Give it a spin.
It is time for us to get balls going.
According to Joey, we have go ahead. We have covered 13 Big Ten teams.
Yes.
Out of the 18 in our balls of steel.
How many do we want?
4. I mean, 4 always puts us in Big Ten territory, doesn't it?
Usually.
See if we can get lucky.
43.
Yep.
15.
Yep.
Okay.
58.
10. 11.
Uh-oh.
79.
Yes.
Yep. We are in that conference.
I don't think I think we've done Wisconsin, right?
No, we have not.
We just talk about them a lot.
Oh, the Wisconsin-assance.
Which I don't understand why you just don't call it the Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is here. They are the 9th pick in the Big Ten by our dear friend Brett Ciancia for Pick 6 previews.
Too high.
Who we're getting this information from. Did you know, Schaefer, that they have the Badgers as they call them?
Badgers?
They have quite the manageable schedule this year.
I have heard.
Quite with the exception of their Notre Dame game to start the season where they're wearing weird jerseys and it's at Lambeau Field, Joe.
Are they Culver's themed jerseys?
No, they're
not.
They're even worse than the ones that they wore against Nebraska in 2012 in the regular season game.
They're even worse than those.
That
might be one of the greatest all-time jersey games in Memorial Stadium.
They're just as bad. They are just as bad. You should look these up.
I am right now.
Here's what Brett says. Quarterback injuries have handcuffed the offense the past 3 seasons. Fickle signed a proven all-league dual threat in Colton Joseph, whose skill set will elevate the other position groups. The quarterback fix from meltdown to proven asset, plus a schedule boost, will have Wisconsin returning to bowl season. After facing one of the hardest schedules, Wisconsin wins the schedule lottery by drawing 6 of the bottom 7 and avoiding the playoff trio entirely. That's a great case for the Wisconsin-sance.
It is. If only they come through and win games.
Well,
what's an anti-case for the Wisconsin?
What?
The fact that they're opening game jerseys is basically just borrowing from Rutgers.
They are truly.
You're just going to Rutgers.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I want a little bit more scarlet and a lot more gray.
They're bad.
And they're like, hey, we got you.
I can't argue with it.
We've
but
lost lots of games.
That game's a wash anyway. That game's a loss for my guys at Wisconsin. Notre Dame, they're losing to Notre Dame. Then Western Illinois, Eastern Michigan.
Win.
At Penn State.
Loss.
Michigan State at home.
Win.
Bye week. Don't say anything. At UCLA.
Loss.
That's toss. That's toss up. USC at home.
Loss.
At Iowa.
Loss.
Rutgers.
Win.
At Maryland.
Loss.
Ah, this is in November. Maryland will suck by then. At Purdue.
Win.
Home against Minnesota.
Loss. 5-7.
You made them lose like 3 games. I thought that they would win.
Okay, but you
Maybe-
believe in Bob Buzz?
I believe in a little Bob Buzz,
Okay, so if you believe in Bob Buzz, they're beating
but
Wisconsin.
I also believe in the Wisconsinites.
Well, you're gonna have to pick a side.
That'll be a tough.
You're
game
gonna
for me.
have to pick a side.
October 17th.
Do you want Bob Chesney and his beautiful hair, or do you want Luke Fickle and his dour-looking face as they lose yet again?
I we'll hold on that one. That's a tough one for me. You think they're going to lose to Maryland
Yes,
in November?
there's some Maryland buzz.
You think there is a little Maryland buzz, but just wait until September ends, okay? And then you think
What are you, Green Day?
you think they're going to lose to Minnesota?
They could lose to Minnesota.
They
There's
definitely
some
could.
Minnesota buzz.
Do you think they're going to lose to? They could beat Penn State on the road.
They could beat Penn State on the road. They won't.
They're probably not going to beat USC at home.
They're not beating USC.
Although they did almost beat Oregon last year.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they were in that game
They were in
for
the
a
game.
long time. I don't know. What? So let's actually nail this down. You're saying 5.
5 wins.
I'm saying 7 or 8.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot of wins.
It is a lot of wins. It's at least 2 more than you.
As someone who has sat in that chair and talked about liking, UCLA and that Minnesota just Minnesotas.
I'm very
These
positive.
are both programs that are better than Wisconsin.
I'm a very positive guy.
Okay.
I'm very
All right.
positive on a lot of different programs.
Sometimes the positives face each other and someone gets a negative result.
That is true. And if that happens and when that happens, I'll be in a win-win situation.
The only team that you haven't been Maryland tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, Rutgers could beat Wisconsin too.
Rutgers, yeah, there's some Rutgers buzz. I think there's buzz on everybody in the Big Ten.
I don't think there's Purdue buzz and I don't think there's Nebraska buzz, but I think everyone else has buzz.
That is weird. You're right. Nobody's talking.
Michigan State doesn't really have buzz. There's just a Pat Fitzgerald buzz.
Somebody needs to come out like one of the Big Ten. This is a perfect job for Jake Butt. He needs to come out tomorrow and be like, "Hey, have you heard about Nebraska?" And finally get the thing going on that. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. 7:00 hour is up on the other side. We want to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620. As always, back after this on 1620 The Zone. Another running back in the NFL has a deal.
Whoa.
And it's not Jahmyr Gibbs. The Bijan Robinson, we talked about how that would sort of help set the market, highest paid running back in NFL history. Jonathan Taylor has a new deal. We were just talking about the Wisconsinans. Jonathan Taylor was a part of the Renaissance. You know, he was a part of the original one. He has signed a 2-year, $44 million extension worth up to $47 million. That includes $39 million guaranteed with the Indianapolis Colts. So I don't know what his regular deal looked like, but he is now extended on top of that.
Way to go, Peter Krenzer. I'm happy for you.
I like when I like when teams pay guys and try to keep them, like, especially if he's a franchise centerpiece.
Sure.
Like, you want to keep that guy. Now I understand it's a tough position to have a franchise centerpiece at, because it turns out running backs only stay in the NFL for like 6 years.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the Colts basically have their quarterback, running back, and then they signed Alex Pierce to a 4-year, $114 million contract as well. So they kind of have their offense set. They traded those picks for Sauce Gardner. So they are like, this is their team.
Yep.
They're Gene Hackman. Your team is on the floor.
My team's on the floor.
I want you to support who we are, not who we are not.
We will talk about the team that's on the floor in just a moment. Don't worry.
Good.
Don't worry.
I appreciate that.
Jahmyr Gibbs is now on the clock. Adam Schefter tweets this as a preview. With Jonathan Taylor and Bijan Robinson's deals done, Jahmyr Gibbs is next up, knowing what it will take to become the NFL's highest paid running back. He's just an aggregator now. He just puts out pictures and
he's like a hype guy,
like a
now.
scene setter. Yeah.
It's a weird, I mean, he still has all the information, but there used to be in a dorky way, a cool element to Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
He's given all of that up.
So he must have he does all the breaking news stuff still, because he's always worked. Like, he must have a guy running his Twitter to do all this fluff stuff.
Right.
This is most of the day when he's not breaking news, it's just all garbage.
You're Schefter's fluffer, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'd pay well, you know. I'd be Schefter's fluffer. On his Twitter.
I need you to put out a tweet about JJ Watt. It's got to sound really nice. And he's just going to get named the head CBS guy.
Don't worry. I got it. Can you send me a nice picture? Of course.
Oh, here's one of him with the American flag.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Got to pick the right picture. Can we edit this a little bit and make it
We
look
need
cool?
to be a little darker so it really makes him pop.
All right. So this startled both of us last night. This is from...
Startled is not even a fair way to put it.
This is Myron Metcalf from ESPN projecting...
A real... college basketball
he's
person.
Good. Myron Metcalf is good. He's legit. Projecting every Big Ten team's floor and ceiling in basketball for 2026 and 2027. He writes, just to give you an idea of where his headspace is at. At this point in the offseason, everyone usually assumes their team can make a run to the NCAA tournament based on the information currently at hand. They also need that one friend who will hold their hand and tell them the truth, even if it's not easy to digest. Sorry, Rutgers. Our attempt to project the floor and ceiling for every team in the major conferences would normally bank on assessing the sport at large and analyzing rosters and offseason moves. But chaos unexpectedly ensued in the month of July. A recent federal court case in Colorado granted players who were excluded from NCAA's new age-based eligibility a chance to play this upcoming season. Until more is known about the fate of the pool of these players, we've decided not to factor those players into our projections. We begin with the Big Ten, home of the reigning national champions in a conference particularly hit with a series of major moves just in the past few weeks. Teams are ordered by their total win ceiling projections. And so I scrolled down to about halfway down the list and I go, where's Nebraska? Is he really that low on Nebraska? My first fling of my fingers.
You gave it one of those?
Landed on 8. And I was like, whoa, that's Purdue. Why does it say Purdue right there? And so I kept scrolling down. I'm like, 12, 13, 14. It's like, they're not this bad, right? And so then I did the unthinkable. I scrolled up and I said, what? And I kept going. And it said Nebraska is at number 5, which is remarkably not the most surprising part about this
That
article.
only builds to what will be the most surprising part.
Ceiling, total wins 30. Big Ten, this is for their ceiling for next year. Total wins 30. Big Ten finish first. Postseason finish Elite 8. Floor, total wins 20. Big Ten finish 5th. Postseason finish NCAA tournament, like losing in the first game of the NCAA tournament.
I do. You're speaking the words out loud.
Yeah, I still
and
can't
I do
believe
not
it.
understand them.
Right. This is Nebraska basketball, who now apparently has a ceiling. Well, this season, who has a ceiling of basically being a national championship contender and a floor of just getting to the NCAA tournament and being a 20-win team.
My entire life, I've dreamed of the floor of just getting to the NCAA.
And the Big Ten finish of 5th.
I know that one has to be wrong. Like you win 20 games, you're going to finish worse.
You're going to finish like 10th.
So that one, I was kind of like, okay, I can throw that out. But it does cut to the idea that even if Nebraska regresses slightly, the expectation from at least one real live college basketball.
We should get Myron Metcalf on. He's come on this station before.
This is an NCAA tournament team. Even if they're not as good as they were last year, which is what many of us would expect, because last year felt like the greatest, most magical thing that's ever happened. How do you follow that up?
Yeah.
Surely it doesn't get better. Well, there's a world where it could. And even if it doesn't, there's a world where you're just doing what you've always wanted them to do. Make the postseason tournament, be competitive.
I saw somebody on the it was on the field, the Goodman's thing, the field of 68.
Do they have to change their name?
Yes. Field of
Can
76.
you imagine if you started a podcast and then circumstances changed and you had to change the name of the podcast? You'd feel like an idiot.
I think you would.
So you probably just keep the name.
You probably just keep it at that.
Yeah,
point.
I think that's what you do.
You'd have to double down, even though, the tournament is no longer 68 and people change jobs and things like that. So I saw a clip, and the guy, I wish I could attribute this correctly. Maybe the basketball honks out there could help me, because the clip was floating around over the last couple of days. The sell was Nebraska is like a miniature version of UConn, where it doesn't really matter who they have. It doesn't matter how much turnover they have per year. You could just expect them to be what they are. Not UConn in the success level and the ceiling that
Sure.
program has, but just like I really don't have to think about their personnel. I don't really have to think about what they have or what they're going to have. I just know they're going to do this and this and this, and they play a certain style, and they move and they cut on offense. Like, it was a little bit more specific than that. And I just thought about it, and I'm like, well, it's been they've been building to that last year, and they've been good for 3 years now under Hoiberg, but there doesn't seem to be much hesitation from people to just say, well, this is just what Nebraska basketball is now. And that's not even locally.
Yeah.
That's kind of everywhere, which is fascinating to me.
I think it has a lot to do with Fred Hoiberg, just in general.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
That's a great sell.
Right.
Like, if you're selling me on, look, I just believe in Hoiberg, like, sign me up. I do. Like, I really do. It's the whole reason I believed in them the whole time they sucked.
So the other aspect of this is, it's interesting that UConn was used as an example. Wouldn't you just be able to say Hoiberg's previous college job? Like,
sure.
That's part of it for me. Like, part of my enthusiasm for Nebraska basketball and why I would be bullish on the future is that Hoiberg's been in this spot where he has sort of this team, and he has an idea of how he wants to build it. He has an idea of how he wants to coach in the league and the type of players it'll take for them to be successful. And he's implemented that blueprint before at Ames, and I think he can do it again in Lincoln, and theoretically has more resources at his disposal in Lincoln, less history, a lot less history.
Yeah.
But I think he has a very, very realistic chance to have a sustainably solid to good basketball.
I've sort of referred to them as like a perennial NCAA tournament. I don't know if it's
I used to want 3 out of 5. Now I'm kind of like, I feel like 4 out of 5.
I think so. Like, I think that's a really good way to put it. Now, the way Myron Metcalf puts it is like you're making the NCAA tournament every year, no doubt. Which I don't. It's a weird world. It's a weird world that we live
They
in.
made the NCAA tournament 3 times since I reached double digits in age.
That's right.
3 times.
Yep.
And then the idea that they would make it every year.
Yeah.
That like I wouldn't have to sit around in March and just, think about a bracket or whatever.
If they're that kind of team in most
Am I
years,
gonna
you're
have
winning
the
a
budget
game.
to travel every March?
Well, it might not be as exciting anymore.
I don't know.
No, it still is. Trust me.
My guess is it'll be pretty damn exciting.
It's still pretty cool. But I will caution you, the more you go to the NCAA tournament, the more times you lose inexplicably in the NCAA tournament, which is sad.
Yeah.
So there will be sadness.
So now what you're describing is the exact nature of being Vikings and Cleveland baseball.
Right.
You have a lot of opportunities for sadness.
Yeah.
And you maximize all of them.
And there are some opportunities for happiness, but which never come to fruition.
Yeah.
So he writes, Myron Metcalf on ESPN, the most magical season in team history ended with the first Sweet 16 appearance and Fred Hoiberg being named AP National Coach of the Year. A 4th consecutive 20-win campaign and a 3rd NCAA tournament appearance in 4 years all seem possible for a group that will be led by Bryce Samford, 6th man of the year in the Big Ten, Braden Frager. But looming over the Cornhuskers is the fact that they lost more than 40 points per game from the roster. They will also need to rely heavily on their newcomers to retain a top 10 defense, which, as I'm looking at it right now, is sort of the thing for me with them. Like, can they be that good defensively again? But then I start to think about it and all the production that they lost offensively too. What makes it so impressive how they were able to get to that level last year is you don't necessarily think about the guys, like the personnel. It is sort of interchange. Like, I don't want to take credit away from Sam Hoiberg and Jamarcus Lawrence and who am I missing? Rinkmast, of course. From like I'm not trying to diminish what they did, but there's a lot of Sam Hoiberg, Jamarcus Lawrence, and Rinkmast that exist in the world. You know what I mean? And so you could bring those guys in, tweak it a little bit depending on what their skill sets are every year. And you're not going to be a 30-win team every year. You're not going to be an Elite 8 team, a Sweet 16 team every year. But your ceiling maybe is a little bit higher than what we sort of thought. And it's all because of Fred Hoiberg.
Yeah. The thing that's hard with Nebraska basketball to me isn't the 40 points that you have to replace in that regard. Like when we're talking about Jamarcus Lawrence and Rinkmast and Sam Hoiberg, part of Nebraska's success last year is that any of their top 6 guys could be your leading scorer on a given night. And like, you didn't have to have one guy.
Yep.
You didn't have to have Bryce Williams go for 25 to be in a game, but you had enough in the aggregate. The areas that are going to be challenging are more the intangible aspects of Rinkmast's vocal leadership and Sam Hoiberg's ability to be an on-ball defender and just be in the right place at the right time, which is the last line in here. They'll also need to rely heavily on their newcomers to retain a top 10 defense. You've kind of been skeptical that's, some of these guys, like, how does a Sam Orm fit defensively going from the Missouri Valley?
Yeah.
And so they're going to look different.
But the thing that they've done, like the thing that stops me from going too far down that road is how they've defended. Like, the reason people don't look at them as a defensive machine is because they're not physically imposing. They do it from a scheme perspective, which is the way that they have to do it. So now the part that makes it difficult is the connectivity piece.
Sure.
They were so good right off the bat at that last year. And that's just not,
because a lot of them have played together.
Exactly.
I think that's kind of
it's just not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same this year right away, but maybe it develops into that. But it's still a scheme heavy defense that, relies on guys being in the right spot and knowing where to be and all these different things. And eventually you would think that it would get there.
Yeah. Well, and like no one ever talked about Price Stanford's defense when he came over from Iowa. And he turned out to be a pretty valuable defender for you because of how long he is.
Very important.
Sam Moore might not be a great on-ball defender, but his ability to just be long in a passing lane and fill up space can be helpful in that regard.
They probably don't have any good on-ball defenders except for DeGorville.
I was going to say they have one.
And probably Lenhart.
Maybe.
With his length at that position,
I think the
have
biggest
enough
thing they have is they're
positional
going to
length.
be really long.
Yeah.
Like they're going to kind of do what Illinois did to teams, which is just sort of annoy you with just total length. Now can Bowden Kapke be as good as Rink? Like Rink Mass wasn't a great defender, but he was this wall that leaned on you over and over and over. And we saw him give really good post players drop, They won that game against Purdue because Zach Edey struggled against Rink Mass just as much because Tominaga went, nuts from 3. But
I mean, like they're helping on, it's not just Rink,
right? But I'm just saying, like
Zach
Rink's
Edey.
ability to just sort of be able to stand tall in there was a huge thing.
Yeah.
So there's definite aspects of this where the change is going to be fascinating. But again, to have someone who's like, their floor is they're a tournament team is just like hit me in the face like cold water, And
there's a certain part of me though that just like can't like
you're not there yet.
I can't.
I mean, and I don't mean that as like you're not.
Of course, you're not there yet.
I'm struggling to be there too.
Yeah.
In this, and I'm optimistic, and I think they're going to be a tournament team. And I think the Frager year 2 is going to be really. I think he's going to have a massive jump. I do.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more still there for him, and then I think Stanford is really consistent. Okay, it's weird.
They were just so off the charts.
I don't think there's more for Stanford. I just think that you're going to have a reliable player in that regard.
But and then there's like a certain amount of the math. You're going back and sort of going over the math again from last year in my head, and I'm thinking, God, everything worked for them, and they were so off the charts in the intangible stuff.
Right.
And that can't be an every year thing. Like
shouldn't be, but if you can retain and you keep the heart of that system,
But it was like,
no, they got the 100th percentile result,
right?
Most of last.
That's my point. Yes.
And so this would be your ceiling is your 100th percentile result. I don't think that they're going to get that. As amazing as it is to see first place Big Ten finish, I am not counting on that in 2026, 27.
Yeah,
and
you'll never look at their roster
another
and
Sweet
say,
16. That sounds sign me up.
And you'll never they'll never be at the point where you look at their roster and you'll say, "Wow, well that team's going to win the Big Ten."
Right.
But
kind of why I hope that they can sort of evolve into being Wisconsin basketball.
Yeah,
where you're just
that's a great place.
A consistent tournament team. You're consistently a threat. You're top 25 team on occasion. Even in your down years, you're 8th or 9th in the conference, and you're still a pain in everyone's ass. That's my hope. I mean,
they were really good and still are really good.
And
have been really good for a
Like,
long time.
I do not like to give Wisconsin credit for many things.
Yeah.
But their ability in basketball to reload when they lose these guys, and they lose them.
I believe
they're going to lose them.
I believe that was the point in the Debo said it was in the it was either Douster or another guy in that podcast, but Wisconsin was an example that was brought up. He said they're just going to be like Bo Ryan, just every year. It doesn't really matter what they have. They'll find somebody, and they'll show up. So let's get to a couple texts here real quick. Here's John. Football John. You mean the men's basketball team has an identity and that identity has led to success? Has the football coach made that connection? Not everything has to be about football, John. And then are these two different people? I guess they are spelled the same way though. Schaefer, the solution to your Nebraska in the tournament problem is to not pay attention to basketball.
Oh, that doesn't seem like what I'm going to do.
Feels like we're not going to go down that road. Aaron has a couple things. He said, Kale is a good on-ball defender, even as a 6-man, for sure. Frager has a chance to take a huge step up defensively. He has that ability and needs to take it personally on that end. I mean, you mentioned if Frager makes a huge jump, that's a game changer for them, really, on both sides of the ball. And then he said Wisconsin and have those pop years, which Wisconsin had a few was a few minutes away from a national championship. Do I expect a natty? No, but you want to be consistent enough to pop, which football should strive for, but doesn't.
Yeah, like last year, hopefully is a pop year of Nebraska. Well, maybe it's just to set the standard year, but
yeah,
like if that's a pop year, and then this year they come back and they make the Sweet 16 again, but they're only a 25 win team or whatever. Overall.
Nobody should be mad about this. Nobody should be at all concerned about this.
Just get to the tournament, and hopefully the real tournament, not the fake one happening in Wichita. But get to the tournament.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
And be on the right side of, like the first ever Nebraska basketball contract.
Oh no,
I'm about to offer you a contract. It's Selection Sunday, and Nebraska basketball gets their name called. And they are a 6th seed in the NCAA tournament. Are you signing that contract right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even no hesitation.
You should.
No hesitation whatsoever.
That's a top 25 team.
Yeah. I signed that contract.
Would you sign a 7 seed contract?
Yeah.
Would you sign an 8 seed contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have to get to probably the 11 seed or 12 seed in Wichita for me to not sign it.
Well, and I wouldn't offer you that contract.
Yeah.
Because remember, the contract is you either get this result, or if you don't sign it, any other possible result could happen. Anything.
So, I mean,
you get the plus.
You're telling me they are a tournament team and one of the 36 best teams in the country. I am signing.
That's a great way to look at it. And I hope that's still the way that people are looking at it after the deep run last year and the 30 wins and the all-time. Like, I hope people don't come to the table and be like, yeah, well, if we don't get that, we better get back to, like, you know what I mean? I hope that's not the case.
I don't think it is.
I don't think that is, especially with the Nebraska basketball fan base, who
it's too much in its infancy to be that.
The Nebraska basketball people are pretty level-headed about this. The football people who come in and are like, go basketball, are not level-headed.
I don't know. I think everyone's just drunk off of the last season and continue to be.
But you are not. You have sobered up.
I try to.
You've done a nice job.
I almost wasn't when I read that yesterday. I almost broke out all of our good alcohol.
Whoa.
It was just like, hey, Shelby, we've got to set aside money for next March. We're going to every round.
There's some in Omaha next year.
Byron says we're going to go to 3.
You could be a 4 seed.
I know.
That lands in Omaha.
I am like toying. It would be cool if they were in Omaha because I think the environment of it would be outstanding in that regard. It also feels a little bit like, man, taking that show on the road is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would sign a contract for Omaha. We'll put it that way.
Wow. Okay. Go somewhere else.
Yeah. Like, if you're like, they could be Omaha or Sacramento. All right, check out what Sacramento.
I will say some of the most fun experiences are going on the road, like far away, because there's only a few people that, like, it's a smaller, tighter knit. Yeah. Like, we are super duper diehards.
Kind of
those are going to be the people in San Jose. I don't know where the tournament is.
The locations this upcoming year are fantastic.
They are good. We've talked about this before. All right, we'll take a quick break. Come back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, a couple more basketball things here, just real quick. So also in this story from Myron Medcalf, he put Iowa as 12. He put their ceiling as NCAA tournament round of 64. So just first round NCAA tournament loss. And then they could finish as high as 24 wins, 12th in the Big Ten. Minnesota was another one that I looked at. He says there's no world in which Minnesota makes the NCAA tournament. Like their ceiling is not as high as making the NCAA tournament this year, which I don't think that's right.
Yeah, same thing for Washington. So it starts with Washington. So it's Washington, Minnesota, Northwestern, Rutgers, Penn State. None of them make the NCAA tournament per Myron Medcalf. Yeah, Minnesota, we were talking during the break. I mean, they were an annoying team for a lot of people to have to play.
They're going to get good fast.
I like their coach a lot. I mean, I think they're, Nico Medved's a great coach, and I think they're eventually going to have a structure there that will allow them to be competitive.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, we were refreshing our brains on the NCAA tournament sites for this year. Are you ready to hear them again?
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Omaha, Fort Worth, Spokane, Charlotte, Minneapolis, Louisville, Sacramento.
Just a great.
They're all great. They're all really good.
Fans would flood Fort Worth. They would flood Louisville. They would flood Minneapolis. They'd obviously flood Omaha. I think they would travel to Pittsburgh. And then Sacramento, Spokane, you're going to get less people, but it's still going to be red.
Yeah, those would be the last two if you're looking for the migration. Other than that, it would be pretty good.
I was joking with you. I cannot imagine how many Nebraska fans would be on like the Maker's Mark tour and then all over the Louisville Bat Factory.
Yeah.
And then, I think it's their drinking district is like 6th Street or something. I've been there before, but they'd be like showing up outside the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs, like not the actual Derby, but just showing up at Churchill Downs, trying to get in, wanting to take photos. They'd be everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they'd be all over the Yum Center, if that's still what it's called.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
The KFC Yum Center. There you go. That's what it looks like for NCAA tournament sites this year. Luckily, well, not luckily. I would like to think about this every day, but we probably won't think about it for a long time now. Never got to this yesterday. Story going around college football. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this, Dana Holgerson?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Dana is really out of touch.
Is not seen.
Like, I think I'm out of touch,
anything.
but Dana has never seen or heard anything.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Akron football, who famously lost 68-0 to Nebraska last year, tweeted this out a couple days ago. They said, make history and be the lucky season ticket holder to design the opening drive of the home opener when Akron hosts Robert Morris. One lucky fan will be able to script the opening drive in our home opener. An extra chance to win with every season ticket holder you refer. Random drawing among season ticket holders. The drawing will be held on August 19th. So in a couple weeks, they will decide who will get to script their opening drive. All Akron season ticket holders are automatically entered into a random drawing for the promotion, with every season ticket counting as an entry. So if you buy 10 season tickets, you get 10 entries into this category, which I think, as Akron hoped, this is already becoming like a national story, and they found that the Akron football season tickets are not expensive. And so people have no issue with saying, sure, I'll do 4 Akron season tickets. Now, they won't have anyone going to the games, but they will be getting a nice influx of money, I think, from this. And unfortunately, they will have to give up their offensive coordinator for the first drive of the first game of the year.
So I would love to know how deep you're actually allowed to go in scripting things.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we actually just want you to write down what this is going to be.
Me too. And I think they're purposefully vague on this. I would like a follow-up. Hilariously, Akron, I don't believe, has an offensive coordinator on their, like, they just have Joe Moorhead.
Joe Moorhead calls plays, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't have like a title of a person who is the offensive coordinator. They just have a head coach.
So the first comment that pops up on this when you check Twitter is someone named Sandwich Guy. and he says, "I'm not giving up the headset if we score." And it's
don't
everything
think
I
they
love
get a
about
headset.
Twitter.
Like, does the person who wins this get to go on the field and be a coach? I don't.
They
think
wear a
that's
headset.
What happens if you script the first drive, Akron wins the game, Akron goes to a bowl game? Do you get a ring? Like, do you get to be part of the bowl game experience? You were on the staff.
Well, I mean, speaking of Akron, the Akron game could have been game-changing for Scott Frost in 2018 if they would have played that game and they had a different offensive coordinator, and they would have thanked them for their service, and it would have set Nebraska into this rocket ship of a great 2018 season.
I kind of want to, during the break, I want to go through the Phil Steele of Akron and see what they have. Nebraska obviously doesn't
good
play
one.
them this year.
We could do that
But-
for a group of 5
Yeah,
Friday.
We could. Last year I did this thing.
They were so bad
Yeah.
last year.
Well, they were, and then they weren't. They ended up winning 5 games. They were weirdly challenging the best teams in the MAC at the end of it, and their like quarterback was better than I would have ever guessed based on the team. The team they brought to Lincoln and the team that they played everybody with from October on seemed like they were 2 different teams.
Yes.
Like, they didn't even line up to blockade Petchak from their own 2-yard line and allowed a safety because of it.
Yeah. I'd never seen, I had very rarely seen in the last 15 years Nebraska beat a team that bad. I mean, not
or
even
a team that Nebraska's played look that bad other than Bethune-Cookman and Idaho
I was
State.
going to say, even Bethune-Cookman, they were right on the Bethune-Cookman level.
Is Bethune-Cookman, Idaho State, and Akron are the 3 worst performances I've ever seen from a team at Memorial.
And Akron is the only FBS team out
And
of
they won
those
5
teams.
games.
5
They wouldn't have been bowl eligible because of some penalty that they have to serve for some reason.
That's
or another.
right. That's right.
But they could have been, in theory. They missed a field goal in one of the games at the end.
So you can buy Akron football season tickets for as low as $75. 75. Wow. Do you want an entry?
I kind of think we talk to Matt McMaster and just get him to buy it for us with his gambling winnings.
1 ticket, select price level. Yeah, $75 is general admission season ticket.
So that's for 6 games, for 5 home games, 5 or 6 home games.
It is 6. Yeah, is it 6, Joey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That is a heck of a
That's
deal.
an incredible.
You got Robert Morris, UNLV, Eastern Michigan, Ohio, Western Michigan, and Buffalo.
I get you a club season ticket for $166.
Man.
For the whole season for 6 games. That's an incredible deal still.
A friend of mine texted in, he goes, how funny would it be if a Robert Morris person buys a bunch of the season tickets and wins?
That's pretty good.
You script the first drive, you're like, hey guys, this is what they're gonna run.
I already know.
The funny
what they're
thing
doing.
is, this is
You'd be like the Wake Forest color analyst who just gave all the plays to
WikiLeaks.
That was so weird.
Yeah, what a great
That's
time.
what I was going to say. The funny thing is, this is the second game of the season. What if they just get the play calls from Wake Forest? Just get the scope from them.
This is Akron's second game of the season?
Yeah,
Robert.
Robert.
This is their home opener, not
Yeah,
their
yeah.
opener.
They opened the season at Wake Forest on a Thursday night.
I didn't actually know that.
Jake Dicker.
There you go. They could have their own WikiLeaks, as Joey was talking about. Very interesting. I don't know how the actual functionality of how this is going to go. I don't know what they're going to allow him to pick from. I assume it won't be very hands-on for you if you win this contest, but you never know if you don't try. And it only will cost you $75.
Is there a play you'd love to call?
I mean, everybody made the joke, but for Verts, you just run go. I'm like, that's getting in the mix.
I had a buddy who was like wanting to be a football coach, and he was running the North Star freshman team, and I was always trying to get him to run a double reverse pass.
Yeah,
like I was like, you got to bust it out, because I knew he practiced it because I was constantly on him to like put it in a game. He would never run it though. He's like, we can't do it in practice. We cannot run this in a game.
Try harder in practice.
That's what I was saying. Practice more on it.
Quick phone call before we get to Joey's headlines. Here's Greg in Michigan. Hi, Greg. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm Nolan Greens in Clarkston, Michigan, home of Rocco Spindler.
Nice.
And yeah, my daughter played soccer at Akron for 2 years.
Yeah.
That place is beyond a dump. I'm serious, man. I'm surprised there's still a university. They got a stadium that holds 25,000 people. I was there for soccer games on football weekends. They'd get 300 people in the stands. After the rain out with Nebraska, I was there on a Sunday morning, and a big lineman walked by me, and I said, "Hey, what'd you think of Nebraska?" And he goes, "It's a good thing they canceled the game because we would have kicked their ass." And I'm like, and of course, he didn't know I was a Cornhusker fan, and I'm like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, and my daughter was there when LeBron rented out didn't rent out, but used him and his entourage come there and play softball on the softball field.
Oh,
And she videoed him and, talked to him and stuff. And Barstool Sports picked up her video and ran with it. Of course, she got in trouble with the NCAA for putting that out.
sure.
But that was back when the NCAA had a little bit of bite, not much. But anyway, that's my 2 cents, and go Big Red. I'll be out there for the Indiana game. So,
Sweet. Thanks for the call, Greg. We appreciate you, and have fun on the grass this morning. The new Rubber Bowl, aka Infocision Stadium,
Wow.
at Summer Field
And
in Akron, Ohio.
their old stadium's still there. It's still vacant. They haven't torn it down completely, if I remembered right.
It's
So you could go down there and explore if you want.
gotta be
What's
tough.
the interstates to take you to Akron, Joey?
There we go.
Oh, no. I think I-77 or 71 runs through that,
I'll tell you.
going north and south. It's one of the 70s. It's an odd number.
What'd you say?
I think 77's.
Yeah, you got it. It's 77.
Because it goes, if you keep going south, then you get to Canton for the Pro Football Hall of Fame
There's
game. That
also
is tonight.
76. So you
That's
have two
right.
70s that are in there. 76 and 77.
Yeah, 76. That's kind of starts up around that Pennsylvania, Ohio Turnpike.
Shout out to LeBron James, man. The only thing that Akron has ever been known
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
And now this.
went past his mansion of years
If
ago.
we're not careful, we could end up with it as a city of the day for no reason.
I'm interested at
Oh,
this
Can-
point.
Can-
We've talked enough about it.
Canton's a candidate for Hall of Fame game.
Okay. That's true.
We
could
do have
that.
tomorrow. It's Friday. We do have to think about this. I haven't done a city of the day in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Whoa.
we'll get there. All right. Back after this with Joey's headlines on 1620 The Zone. All right, once again, get your opinions in. I have an opinion. It's coming up in just a couple minutes. So whichever way you'd like to get your opinions into us here on Happer and Schaefer, please do so now. 402-951-1620. You can tweet at us in the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Happen Shave. Email the Equitable Bank inbox. Connor, Mike, or Joey at 1620thezone.com. Joey, let's get to the headlines today.
Headline number one, we talked about Wisconsin a lot, so might as well talk Wisconsin. Wisconsin pilot who landed helicopter at Richfield Cabela's says he's surprised by attention.
Okay. That's got a lot of the elements that we were looking for.
There's a lot happening there.
Headline number two, influencers chicken amusement park shut down because all the meat was undercooked.
What are we looking at here?
This is tough.
I'm a little concerned about the chicken amusement park thing, and it's just like a play on words. That it's, I don't know.
We'll go with the helicopter
Do
pilot.
we go to the helicopter? Yeah. All right, let's do it. This is from TMJ4 in Washington County, Wisconsin. Dennis Pipping, a pilot with decades of experience, landed his helicopter in the Cabela's parking lot in Richfield to pick up his bow hunting supplies. And he says he's surprised by all the attention it's gotten. Washington County Sheriff's deputies received a call Saturday evening that someone had landed a helicopter in the Cabela's parking lot. Pipping, the 69-year-old, is a longtime business owner in Rosendale, about 50 miles northwest of the Richfield store. He said that he called the store before making the 20-minute flight with his helicopter and circled to the parking lot to make sure it was safe before touching down. So I asked my neighbor friend if he wanted to take a ride to Cabela's to get some shopping done. When asked why he chose to fly instead of drive, he had a simple answer. He said, "Would you drive if you could fly there in a helicopter?" He said, pretty simple response. The landing was uneventful. It was very easy, he explained. There was not one car in the far north parking lot, and the parking lot is huge, obviously, so it landed with no cars around me, and we went in. Now, he's gotten a lot of attention for it. After finishing his shopping, the deputy arrived on the scene. Quote, "I did my shopping, came out, and all of a sudden there's a police car strolling up." And he says, "Wow, this is exciting." He said, "I got a call. I was supposed to check out a helicopter landing in the parking lot of Cabela's." And he said, "Well, it's probably just a drone." And I get there and it's a big helicopter. Piping was not ticketed or cited because his license was in order. He also said his decision to fly had nothing to do with the roundabouts near the store.
What a line!
That's a great way to finish it off.
This guy could fly LeBron to all the Sixers home games.
So apparently, this is not against the rules.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could just land your helicopter in a parking lot.
I would have thought that there would have been some regulations on that.
Yeah, I would think that you would need to have like an actual airspace of which you're supposed to land your helicopter.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if I'm this guy, I'm taking the chopper all the time into town.
yeah, no kidding.
You know, I'm gonna use that parking lot as my central hub for everything. That's basically my
If they're okay with it, I think that's part of it is that you have to have the permission of the place to land your helicopter.
And he very nicely called Cabela's
Right.
and warned them. He says, "I'm coming with my
I wish there was a
helicopter."
list of what his supplies were that he bought. Because it says
What did he-
supplies for bow hunting.
Yeah,
It's
what did he need to
but
go
what,
to-
what did he need?
What did he need to go to Cabela's for?
What was there? But
Great question.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I do appreciate knowing that it had nothing to do with the roundabouts, those menacing roundabouts that were near the store.
I really want a backstory on why that was mentioned. It seems like the roundabouts had caused quite the hubbub.
Well, this
in
is
the
a
town.
local news thing, so there's probably some sort of anti-roundabout thing going on in Washington County.
I would imagine it's caused quite the stir already, and so that had to be thrown in there because, just to mention that it wasn't that. It's
Would
definitely
flying be
not
a rich
the
guy
roundabouts.
hobby for you? You're a rich guy. Would you learn how to? You take the air.
I've really gone back and forth on this over the years. I don't know. Like, I really like planes. And I like the idea of operating machinery and things like that. I don't know if I'm like a flying a small prop plane guy.
100% am. Sign me up.
You're all the way
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
I would love to. I like looked into it because I wanted to know how much money one would need. It's not so much, but it's definitely like hobby money.
Yeah, right.
Which I never have hobby money.
Right. I'd be too stressed for it,
Oh,
probably.
man. I would love it.
I don't even know if I would want to go in one.
Bro, if you're concerned about not operating it, then I doubt
Right.
you'd
I
want
would
to
have to be, if I'm going in it, it would have to
Right.
be me well trained operating the thing.
Right.
I don't know. I'll just stick to my commercial planes.
Okay.
Not flying those, for the record. All right. It's time for I Have an Opinion. Thank you, Joey. Send your opinions, 402-951-1620. We'll get to those on the other side. 8 o'clock hour is up next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. 8 o'clock hour of Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Counter Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola with you. A reminder about our, a reminder about our golf tournament coming up in a couple weeks. Get signed up today. It is 2 weeks from tomorrow at Miracle Hill, 8:30 shotgun start. Sign up at 1620thezone.com. Registration is all on our website. Check it out today. You'll have a chance for plenty of whole prizes, breakfast burritos from Early Bird, and then food afterwards at Phoenix, where John and Josh will be for their show. Our show will be out there. Matt's show will be out there. Come on out. We'll have a fun time. We'll toast to summer, and we'll all give record predictions about Nebraska football.
I might head over to the Phoenix for the after party just afterwards because I'll be at Miracle Hill.
I
all
would
day.
hope that you would be there, Joey.
You were considering skipping the after party?
No, I'm not.
You're like, I got to go home and take a nap?
No, I'm never considering. I'm going to be hanging out with Matt for the midday show as well.
Okay, all right.
You said you were considering it, so I don't know what we have to do to get you over the edge.
But how do we get you to just commit to being
a for sure
after?
guy? Yeah.
That's a good question. Well,
he needs incentive.
Yeah. Joey actually had no intention of ever going, and now has talked himself into a situation.
Well, it's nearby the air. It's
very close.
It's very close to where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we understand that. I'm just saying, what
How
can
do we
do
get
today?
you to be a yes?
How can we get you in the car and drive off the lot? That's what I'm asking.
Probably take my keys. Take my apartment keys.
Okay. That's it? That wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but
keep them over keep them over there.
okay.
I'll pull Matt McMaster and lose my keys. And apparently,
This is not how I thought this was going to go.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. So you guys can join us out there. Maybe Joey will be there. Maybe he won't.
If you find Joey's keys, keep them away
I'll
from
probably
him.
be decked out in Packers gear for that night for their preseason game, and I'll be cheering on for whoever's going to have their breakout preseason before being cut by the Packers.
All right. Well, you could expect that.
I think they're playing the Broncos.
When's their first preseason game?
Next Thursday at the Steelers.
Okay. I will have to remember this, but at some point I'm going to ask for your list of breakout preseason guys.
I already know of
that likely won't make the 53.
Well, I've been hearing about this particular player, but I think he's definitely going to make it to the roster.
Okay. Then he doesn't count.
It's a specific defensive back rookie, which the Packers have a depleted secondary, so it makes sense.
You don't want to tell us who he is.
Yeah, like, are we being coy about his name? You don't remember the name.
I kind of remember the name. I just don't want to butcher the name. I think it's Brandon Siss or something.
Okay.
I gotta see where he plays for.
Debo says, I'll be there since I can walk home. #beers.
Ooh, look at that.
#beers. All right. Also, part of the entry fee is you have to give us your record prediction as well. So join us at Miracle Hill in just a couple weeks and get signed up today. 1620thezone.com, brought to you by Cutwater and T-Box. It's time for I Have an Opinion. You all have opinions, many opinions in the chat. Over the last couple of days, the chat is no longer about the things that we talk about. It's about other things.
It's about anything.
I heard that yesterday on the afternoon show, after I talked about Aaron Rodgers and Fauci in the morning, I heard
Did someone plead the fifth.
John may have mentioned Fauci as well.
Oh no.
And then the YouTube chat went bananas again. Unfortunately, yesterday afternoon.
I have an opinion.
Okay.
We don't need to talk about Fauci.
We're not talking about Fauci. Who said we were talking about Fauci?
I'm just saying. That's
I played the fifth.
As a station, we do not need to talk about Fauci.
Okay. All right. We're going to talk about Fauci. Just if you ever want to wake just a word to the, the people who are maybe starting a podcast or something like that, like if you got a live chat going, just kick a little Fauci in there. People will be going nuts.
Just a dash of Fauci.
Just a little bit of Fauci. All right. Opinions from you all. Let's go to the text line first because I have a couple saved from earlier. Here is Wes. I have an opinion. People who don't know how to get out of the way when emergency vehicles are trying to get through shouldn't have a driver's license. We begin with the driving takes.
Yeah, driving takes are always the most common takes.
Uh-huh. Mostly
which is
because
fair
people are
because there's a
listening on
lot
the
about
radio.
driving and driving in Omaha and Lincoln or wherever, driving anywhere that you just have time to be angered and triggered. And
My overarching point with the driving, and I think this touches just about every angle of driving. Nobody cares about anybody else.
yes,
Everyone only cares. Everybody thinks that they're the only person on the road. They
the
only care
defensive
about
driver
themselves.
means everyone is defensive of their own driving skill.
Apparently, it has transitioned into that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what defensive
driving used to mean. You were hyper aware of
you
the
were
things.
caring about other people. You
Right.
were worried about what was happening. You saw those kids that were up on the porch, and if a ball just happens to get thrown, they could be out in the street. You have to be aware of it.
Instead, now people are only defending themselves.
Yes.
It's so bad.
And defending their actions.
Here's
as drivers.
Here's Pedro. Hey guys, I have an opinion. In sports, we spout some of the most useless stats to make our arguments. Quarterbacks, he could throw the ball 70 yards on a rope. So what? Can he make a decision that doesn't involve a turnover? Running back or receiver, he runs a 4.40. So what? Can he block or catch the ball? Offensive lineman, he could just bench press 600 pounds. So what? He can move fast enough to pick up a blitz. Can he move fast enough to pick up a blitz? Or can he go loop outside to sack the quarterback? We just like to argue. That's his opinion. We do.
We do love arguing.
It's the whole point of this format, I think.
Generally.
Although we're not a particularly argumentative show. But
No.
if usually how a segment starts is the thesis of it's an idea, right? And so if you're told in school or whatever, hey, you have to write a thesis paper and convince me of something, it starts with one sentence.
Right.
I think Nebraska is going to have a good defensive line this year. Then you have to unfortunately explain why.
Yeah. You got to back your argument.
And then you could use pointless stats as reasons to support your point.
You'd be like, Elijah Pritchett bench presses 600 pounds.
That's
A lot of pounds. That's only 2 defensive linemen combined makes 1 Elijah Pritchett bench press.
Exactly. And therefore, I think Nebraska's going to have an offensive line that can move people.
Absolutely.
Okay. Jeep Wade has a flat top haircut. I think Nebraska's going to have a good offensive line.
Because no part of his hair is out of place at any point in time.
Straight across, Super Troopers. These Farva. That's what he'd be looking like. All right, here's John on the text line. I have an opinion. MLB needs to get their crap together and avoid a lockout at all costs next year. If they don't, next spring, the only thing we will have to talk about is the NHL and NBA. And while Lick Master would love that, no one else wants it.
Yeah, I don't want a world where it's only the NBA and NHL in the spring. That doesn't sound fun at all.
Unfortunately, we are indeed headed down that road, though.
We're definitely headed to the very annoying posturing part of early 2027, where neither side will admit that they have to do something to allow the other side to come to the table. And then eventually there will be hey, everyone loses if we don't get this together. So they will make the smallest amount of concessions that they can to just operate and be able to play.
Yeah. But maybe
If
not
we
until
just fast forward to that.
maybe
point.
not until like June, though.
Yeah, I would like it to. I don't want to be in June and then baseball starts. I need baseball by May. If you take April and that becomes spring training, I will live with it. But I want baseball by May.
Yeah. I guess there's no way to know on if we'll get there or not. I would like that as well.
Yeah.
I would like that as well.
I mean, I look at it this way.
I don't think, by the way, I don't think we're losing I have an opinion. I don't think we're losing an entire season.
No, definitely not losing an entire season. I think we'll end up seeing like 144 games or something.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I could live with that.
Some people would like if there was less baseball. I am not necessarily one of those people.
I agree.
But I understand that they exist.
Here is, let's go to the 402. I have an opinion. If there are urinals available, use them. To bypass a urinal and then pee on the lid of a regular toilet is monstrous behavior. Urinals to pee, toilets to poop.
Just lift the lid up. Then you don't have to pee on it.
What about peeing in the urinal?
Well, yeah, use the urinal when provided. I'm assuming in some of these scenarios that people end up, the urinal has people there. and they have to go to the bathroom quicker, and so then they just go into a stall.
Right, but this person is saying if the urinals are
Yeah, I
available,
agree.
you must use the urinal.
In general,
What if it's a situation where, all right, hear me out. There are exactly 4 urinals.
sure,
And 3 of them are being used.
and you're a shy guy.
And you want to go, and you were like, I just don't want to, saddle in.
Saddle in.
I agree. I don't think it's
You're
a problem
not
either.
special.
I don't think it's
Nobody
a problem.
cares. They're, relieving themselves. You're trying to relieve yourself.
Because here's a problem. The chances are when you walk into the stall, that thing is going to be a disaster.
Yeah, like
any public bathroom I've ever been in, the stalls are an absolute nightmare.
similar to how everyone is a defensive driver of their own, driving skills now. Bathroom etiquette has gotten pretty bad. Like people just do whatever. They don't care.
They do not care.
Someone else has to clean up for it. It's not their space. What are we doing? Have some respect for the space of which you're around. Respect for other people. Don't pee on the floor.
Yeah.
Clean up a mess if you make it.
Old man
These are all
Doug,
simple things.
old man Doug follows up. He says, and don't pee with the seat down. Your aim isn't that good.
Yeah, like just lift it up.
Just lift it up.
If you're afraid to touch it, use your foot.
Grab a paper towel
Yeah, like
or a piece of toilet paper.
just get it done.
From the 402, I have an opinion. The phrase "a world where" is annoying. Like a world where. Do you want to live in a world where
Oh,
Nebraska wins the national championship in basketball?
yes.
I figured you would.
Thank you.
Do you want to live in a world where Creighton wins the national championship in basketball?
No.
I do.
I mean,
That'd be a cool
I
world.
prefer
what
that.
else is happening in that world? Is that just like a thing that occurs? Then,
It's just a world where it happens.
there would be people in my life that would really like it. I don't need it.
I don't think anything else catastrophic would happen as a
Okay.
result of it. I don't think it would change that much.
I don't want it.
What would happen to the world around us if Creighton won a national championship in basketball? Not
Right.
much, right? I
Cannot-
would be infinitely more annoying.
Oh, God. The insufferable nature of you.
Yeah, it might make your life a little worse.
Bishop.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
people
bad.
on the
actually.
stream.
Yeah,
Living
Joey.
here.
Joey would be talking about
Yeah.
all the games he didn't board
I don't
out.
know. Joey would still probably find more joy in talking about a random bench player from the 2012 team
Probably.
That's
than the
true.
championship.
That is true.
I don't know who's a random bench player on 2012 Creighton.
Avery Dingman.
Okay,
I was
you could have said any name, and I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
I think that was around the Avery Dingman time. Yeah, I bet he was on the 2012 team.
Okay,
He played a lot though. I don't think he was like ever a full-time starter, but definitely a bench guy. But he played a lot. I don't know if that answered your question.
it's
All right.
good enough.
I would
for
just
me.
talk about how Manny Suarez would just check in just a
Oh, there you go. Manny Suarez is
just-
probably right around that time.
just a foul player or two.
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with using your fouls. That's why they give you 5 of them.
Michael
That's
Severe
usually-
writes in. He said, "I think that is the world where Armageddon starts. The one where Creighton wins a national championship."
I do not want to see society end, so Creighton can have a basketball.
Texter for the
Society's
402
already
says, "Oh, this is 220 boys. Will Artino. Yeah, Will Artino is
Oh,
probably
yeah.
a bench guy in 2012 because
Okay.
they had Echenike.
Was
I
Jeff-
do know Will
was
Artino.
Jeffrey Grissel on that team on those teams, the 2012 team? 'Cause he was on post Doug McDermott era.
Yeah, he
teams.
would have been young. He would have been young, but I think that may have been his freshman year. That'd be my guess. Freshman or sophomore year. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the email inbox here. TC, I have an opinion. What does the University of Akron have to lose when letting a fan call the plays for the opening drive? Last year's home opening drive resulted in a pedestrian 5-play, 21-yard punt anyway, meaning a fan-assisted drive has plenty of room to match or exceed real coach efficiency. Fortunately, head coach Joe Moorhead retains veto power and will, with the winner, build the script. They better not run a naked bootleg from their own end zone unless the coaches allow it. LOL. Peace, TC. I love all of TC's emails.
Yeah.
I feel like AI generates them sometimes, but I do.
No,
like
I don't
TC.
think so at all. There's no
You
way
don't think
that.
this is an AI generated email?
No,
I don't think so. I think it's
I think
All
TC
TC, did you
has
write
his
this?
own like. I think TC has his own email cadence, which is
He does. You could definitely tell when it's
Amazing to
TC. TC can never have a burner.
I
would always know.
assume TC writes his emails like he's talking to you in person. And so the LOL is actually the laugh pause that breaks up before the next thought.
It's always LOL.
Yeah.
LOL peace TC.
Yeah.
Here's Pedro again. Hi, guys. I have another opinion. The teams up north should build their football stadium so the field is in a giant glass globe. So if it's snowing outside, create artificial snow in the glass globe. The fans would be comfortable and the players would be playing in snow.
That's something the Minnesota Vikings could do. They do their little whiteout uniforms, all snow vibes, but they play inside because they are afraid to play with snow.
They do have
That's
domes.
all right.
They could make it snow.
I'm totally okay with them playing indoors and killing all of those birds. They are doing a great thing
Look
for
at you.
society. Nobody likes those birds.
Schaefer against birds. I can't believe
It's
it.
been that way for a long time. Opposed to birds. I would be totally on board with fake snow.
Snow
falling.
globe football
Snow globe
fields.
stadium. I'm in.
And the fans are
Sign me up.
comfortable, right?
Fans
All you,
would
have,
be comfortable.
all you have to do is make it snow in the domes that already exist.
And if
You've been to a football dome before, right?
Have I been to a football game inside of a dome? I'm not sure I have.
So, like the
No.
old Metrodome, and then I think the old Georgia Dome was like this. When you're
I have
leaving,
been in the Metrodome, but I saw a baseball game there.
Did you get the effect of where you get blown out of the door because there's
Yes,
so much air
and I've
in
been
there?
to the Trop, which is a
Yeah.
baseball field as well, which I like. But yes, you get sucked out.
I know that's always my favorite.
It's
aspect
very
of it.
odd. Is
Because
that
people that have never experienced it don't know what they're about to get with it.
is that the case in the new domes?
I don't think it's like that at all with
the bird killer.
Yeah, with the bird killer. I don't think US Bank there's like that. At least I don't recall that feeling. Now, I've only been to a few games there, and I just don't have any recollection of that same. But the Metrodome, it's like you would steel yourself
remember.
up to just basically be like whipped out the door.
Because it would feel good when you came in from the ice cold,
Yeah.
and it would like blow this warm air on you, and
Mhm.
you'd be like entering.
Or
in.
it's September and it's hot in Minnesota, and it felt great being inside because it's 72 degrees.
any sort of air,
Yeah.
right? Here's the email. Let's go to a couple back from Old Man Doug. He says, I have an opinion. Calandria will have a better year than Kenny Minchie. Write it down in ink. That was from a couple days ago. Doug says, I have an opinion. Nebraska's offense will do better than the defense this year.
Yeah,
This has been a talking point over the last couple days.
I don't know about that.
I'm less sure about that as well.
And but I don't know what better is exactly in that scenario either.
We'd have to come up with like a war system.
Was it like they're more highly ranked in the points scored versus points allowed? Is that the thing that you would sort of like? Is that the easy barometer?
In theory, it's easier to score points than not allow.
Because I
them,
guess the other aspect of that to me too is so much of their entire offense was propped up off of 2 games last year,
Yeah.
in which the defense gave up a total of 7.
One of
points.
them was against Akron.
Right. So I don't know.
By the way, TC writes in on YouTube. TC does write emoji his own emails. Proud Central High School emoji alum. Connor, don't you remember writing themes? LOL, peace, TC. I talk about themes all the time at Central
How
High.
dare you accuse him of being an AI created email?
The themes in the books. I've met TC before. He actually talks like this too. But I don't know. It just there's so many pieces of information in his emails.
So Severe says, I can tell you for a fact these are things TC says in real life. I love that.
I guess I need to spend more time around TC.
Yeah, I do too.
Maybe I need to go to some more Central games this year.
I want to know what TC scripts out for Akron. Send us your script, TC.
Please do. It sounds like he's got a pretty good idea. All right. I don't think I have anything else that I need to get to unless I haven't checked the Twitter yet. Hang on. Mark always sends in a tweet to us. I have an opinion. Smokey the Bear has been doing PSAs for years because as a young bear, he was burning heaters and started a forest fire. Also, that dude has to have emphysema and on oxygen. Do you think Smokey the Bear has emphysema?
I hope not. But he has put himself in a situation where he could be around a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of forest fires.
There has been a lot of forest fires.
So,
but I always thought Smokey
P's
the
and
Bear was
P's
there to
for
like,
Smokey.
wasn't he there to
Prevent him.
prevent him? Yeah.
Yeah. But if he's hanging out in the forest a lot, he's just going to be around a lot.
He is putting himself in harm's way a lot.
We have a couple.
Hopefully, I didn't know he was starting the fire.
We have a couple on the stream.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. We got 2-3 minutes.
I have an opinion. Breakfast/brunch places should be open in the evening. Those are just diners, aren't they?
See, I actually would say my opinion would be the exact
Yeah,
opposite.
so you don't care for breakfast.
I actually think dinner places should be open in the morning.
You want to get lasagna at 9 a.m.
I want the option to have lasagna at 9 a.m.
Would you actually eat lasagna at 9 a.m.?
It probably wouldn't be lasagna, but I many times I have
Someone
wanted a
comes in.
sandwich at 9 a.m.
They come into the studio and
It's
they're like,
gonna
Happer, I have made a lasagna. It is now 8:58. At 9 a.m., would you eat this lasagna?
Follow-up question. Is it a now or never situation? I either eat the lasagna at that.
If you don't eat the lasagna at 9 a.m., they're never making you lasagna again, and they're taking their lasagna home.
I eat the lasagna. Okay. Absolutely. Now, if I could save the lasagna for later,
No, there's no saving.
then I save the lasagna for later. But
You
I would-
have to eat the 9 a.m. lasagna.
absolutely. When one of my principles is when offered lasagna, take it.
I had a good lasagna. It's probably about a month ago. It was great. We'll randomly think about it and be like, man, those noodles were cooked to perfection. They had like that right crisp to it. There was some ricotta in there. It was excellent.
The Costco lasagna absolutely
Oh,
rules.
Costco has a lasagna.
Yes. I got to tell you, it rules.
Okay.
And I'm a lasagna guy. It's good lasagna. It's legit stuff. Most of the Costco stuff is pretty bland.
Can be.
That stuff is good.
The street tacos are like my favorite of the prepped. Prepped
It's not one
Costco.
of those. It's not one of those. It's like it's a frozen.
Oh,
pan.
you got to. Okay.
Yeah, but
It's not like a take and bake
That's
that
good.
way. It's just a general frozen.
we got one more email. Lincoln is a tree city. Just ask the observation deck volunteer that worked at the Capitol from 71 to 74. As she led groups out to the deck, she said Lincoln should be known as a tree city because of all of its beautiful tree-lined streets. Maybe Jimmy's parents were in on one of the groups. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow. I mean, I'm sure you could see a lot of trees in Lincoln from the top of the Capitol. That makes a lot of sense to me. Because you're either seeing a bunch of trees or less trees. Or
When
no
you
trees.
were
I
up
would
high,
imagine you could see a lot of trees.
trees tend to stand out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this is it's a generally tree, not tree populated area. That's all. Even though it is one of the many tree cities.
It is a tree city.
People forget. All right, that's I Have an Opinion. Thank you for sending in your opinions. I appreciate them, and continue to do so. And if you send an email, we'll save them, by the way, for next week. We'll take a break. Brian Christopherson is our next guest coming up on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man.
Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone.
All right, camp is underway. Everybody's in the best shape of their life. They're in the best possible position they could be in, got the best roster and all these different things. Brian Christopherson, he's in the best shape of his life. And he joins us on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline right now. BC, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Completely false about best shape of life, but
Well, that's okay. You can still say that, though.
Yeah, pounding 2 Dr. Peppers between 9 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. Every night is starting to add up. So I got to maybe change course a little bit.
What happened to your overnight workouts when you, I forget what the gym was that you would frequent, but you'd be there basically doing pull-ups until 3 a.m.
I might have exaggerated a little bit in those days, Schaefer, with what was going on. And
that was an exaggeration?
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I know you were looking at me in the videos. You're like, man, it looks like you're doing the 300 pull-ups. But, yeah, I got to get back going again. I found, I'm to the point in my life where you can't eat and drink everything you have in the past and expect it to still go the same way. So
BC,
but
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. As long as we can talk more about working out if you want, but
No.
I actually would love to hear more about it. No, we're good.
All right. So football wise here, I'm curious from you, where does your curiosity sort of like lead you to as we embark on this fall camp? Is it more of the offensive side or the defensive side? Schaefer and I's conversations over the last couple of days have been sort of in that vein. And I think we both gravitate toward the defensive side, at least at this stage of the game. Obviously, there's so much curiosity with the offense as well. Where's your mind at right now? Side of the ball, which side are you thinking of at this moment?
In the pick one game, it would be the defense because I feel like there's more spots just on the depth chart where I don't know for sure, or you maybe wouldn't write them down in pen. The cornerback spot is going to be interesting opposite Marshall. Jeremiah Charles looks like he is in the best shape of his life. The honey chicken from Chipotle works well for him, better than it would for me. He's going to have a say. Obviously, people are intrigued if Danny Odom can make a push there. Victor Evans is the guy they brought in. So that spot, but also like the linebackers are going to be a curiosity with, we know Owen Chambliss is going to be someone they're going to count on to stir the drink, but how much is, Dexter Foster going to push for sort of the starting reps with V9? That's interesting. And then of course the D line, just like how that sorts out. And as much as anything with the D line, I'm interested when they talk about trying to get to 8 to 10 where you feel good about and like it doesn't just fall off a cliff after the first, 4 or 5 guys. Like, can Owen Stoudemire be a sturdy guy for them? And then there's young guys, like I think that have to have a say of some sort, like Tyson Terry, I've heard good things about. So he's one that you keep an eye on this camp, Sua Lafotu. So because of that, that's why I'd answer defense.
I want to ask you about Rob Orich's swagger. Why is Owen Chambliss talking about swagger when it comes to the defensive coordinator? And what do you think that actually means? Like when you've got these players talking about that he's got a confidence, he's got maybe a cockiness about this defensive system. What do you think that actually means for Nebraska overall?
Well, I guess I would take it to mean that where Rob Orich is gone, even though it hasn't been at the Big Ten level, they've had success and pretty quickly. And so if you want to be optimistic, which if you're inside their walls, if you're staying at Selleck Dorm this week, which by the way, kind of gets acted like it's a prison nowadays, which I kind of find humorous. Like place I frequented when I was in college, and now it's like, oh man, we're in that box for a week, sort of. But or it's turned around defenses fast. And so if you're in their camp, you want to believe you're going to do it too. And Owen Chambliss, of course, is a spokesperson for having seen it up close. And I think they have simplified some things. I don't want to go overboard with that because sometimes we get into these general discussions of, oh, they've simplified everything and it becomes this major talking point. And I don't know to what level that is. But their mantra is, simple, fast, violent. They want to play fast to take some of the thinking out of it. And I know that Chambliss was asked by some of the players what's the most frequent question that guys are asking you? And he said it was, are we going to install more? Like, you think more is coming sort of deal. And point being, right now it's at a level where guys think like they could even take on even more. But I think it's something that right now they feel like they grasp. They've been through it like in 4 different phases. And so we'll see if it actually makes them play faster. But I guess that's my answer. The swagger is going to, if it comes, it's going to be because it's a defense you can process fast. You've been able to pick up over one off season, and thus it makes you look faster on the field and less sort of thinking out there in the act of playing.
Well, that'd be huge because one of the things we were talking about earlier is just how, lack of explosive it was last year. It really bottomed out as far as really all of Rule's defenses that he's basically ever coached in his head coaching career. That was one of the least explosive ones they've had. They had 22 sacks. They forced only 13 turnovers the entire year last year. And those numbers, even more, people talk about BC, the offensive turnovers and how they can't, afford to turn the ball. They only turned it over 11 times last year on offense, but people talk about the offensive turnover numbers and how volatile that can make you. Man, they need a big jump as far as big splash plays on defense this year.
Absolutely. And they got to knock the ball out. And we don't talk about forced fumbles all the time. It's sort of just generalized as takeaways, but they were like one of the lower teams in the country at just putting the ball on the ground, having that, blindside hit, popping it out, you get a fumble, that sort of play that changes a game. They have to be all about that. They have to be opportunistic. They've got to bring up the TFLs and the sack count a little bit. If nothing else, make these quarterbacks feel uncomfortable. If you go back to last year, there was hardly any games where I felt like they really did that to a QB. The one time I would say that it surfaced was against Michigan State and Aiden Childs. I felt like, even though it ended up a 38-27 game, you remember that Childs threw 2 picks, and why did he do that? A big part of it was they were in his head. They got in his head from the first series, and they hit him hard, and it shows in the numbers in that game. And so that's what they have to be, that sort of relentless way. But it's going to be interesting, and that's why back to your first question, it's defense to me at this camp. I'm really interested in the edge defenders, like who joins. Anthony Jones and Cameron Lenhart are the vets that have to be good, but where does Winery and like Cade Petchock take his game this year? So there's a lot of big things where guys sort of need to step in unison on that side of the ball.
BC, is it possible that some of that is there just seems like there's more guys on the defensive side that could just break out, that we don't have them pegged as to what they are? Whereas with the offense, you don't know exactly what Calandria is, but a lot of these guys are returning or they're more veteran players. So you kind of think they are what they are, where defense could be anything. It could even be a good defensive player.
Yeah, that's a good point, Schaefer. There's a lot of guys who, you have to say, I don't know, but you could also be talked into someone saying, no, he's gonna make that move this year. And so, but it's a bunch of different guys. And so you're going to need 2/3, 3/4 of the guys who you would bring up that are in that category to sort of do it at the same time. A perfect example is a Cade Petchock, I think, has a huge ceiling. I really do. He had a very good freshman season for a guy who just, arrived in the summer last year. I didn't even have the spring, if I remember that right. And what does he do? Where does he take it? How much of a factor can he be? He already made some TFLs and that sort of stuff. in his first year. Where's he go? And then the safety spot, Happer is right about the takeaways, but as much as we beat the drum on the defensive line last year and how much they need to improve, I think about games where Nebraska might have 2 or 3 good defensive plays in a row, and then you have that bust and you have a bad fit, bad angle from your safety position, bad tackling. It leads to an explosive, and it turns everything. Like even the Minnesota game last year, as bad as that one was at the end of it, in the first half, Nebraska's defense, remember, played great football, but they had the one play where there's a bust and a terrible safety angle. It's a 70-yard run. And honestly, they were down 7-6, and that was sort of where it felt like they're climbing a mountain the rest of the night because of that play. So safety spot, whether it's Shamir Khan or whomever is next to McDougal, that's got to be a lot better.
Yep, no doubt. Brian Christopherson from Husker 247 BC. We look forward to your coverage throughout camp. Appreciate it as always. Talk to you later.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Brian Christopherson. You can find it at Husker 24/7. A bunch of stuff. I mean, he is just, him and Brunts are just pumping.
Churning.
Absolutely.
Basically, BC just like goes into a hole, drinks Dr. Pepper, and gives you hundreds of stories to read between now and the start.
And then by the time he comes out of his hole, the next media availability will happen. And,
right.
And for them, it is Saturday.
And then back into the hole he goes.
Back to the hole, back out, and then go down there. So what time is there to do pull-ups and work out?
No, he doesn't have time.
Only to be in the hole. We'll take a break, round out the hour. A couple things I want to hit here. And then we'll get to Max Olson still in the 9 o'clock hour and Freeball as well. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Another reason you should head to 1620thezone.com. You could win a trip to go see trees in Oregon, not cornfields. And watch the Nebraska-Oregon game on Saturday, October 17th. The Husker road trip, thanks to Woodhouse Auto Family and us at 1620 The Zone, will send you and a friend out to Eugene, give you the plane ticket, give you the 2-night hotel stay, and give you $150 on top of it, and 2 tickets to the Nebraska-Oregon game. So get signed up right now, 1620thezone.com. So yesterday, I mentioned BC just a moment ago, the best shape of your life thing. So I was pretty startled when I saw this. This is a tweet from Bud Elliott yesterday. Now, I don't always agree with Bud Elliott's
Is
takes.
he upset that a coach kicked a field goal when he needed the touchdown for his first half cover?
He is not.
Okay. We're still a couple weeks away from those.
We are.
That's how you rank how good coaches are, by the way.
Of course.
That were wondering.
Yes, I have a personal vendetta against coaches who do me wrong in gambling. So Bud Elliott wrote this yesterday, and I thought, whoa, who's he talking about? He says, your team had a great offseason in the weight room. They're unrecognizable compared to where they were last year. That freshman who flashed in the scrimmage when all the starters were held out is going to be a major piece for you this year. They also spent a lot more time bonding, and the staff really likes this team more this year. I don't know if they really liked last year's team and its personalities, but this year I think they have the right mix of leaders. The defense is way more aggressive. The offense is going to be creative and take shots and hit explosive plays. And we are absolutely going to see massive improvement from the quarterback who has thrown 500 career passes and to this point has had a terrible interception rate. I thought I know what he's doing. It's a bit about what the conversations are around every single fall camp around the country, but it did very specifically apply to Nebraska.
Of the 138 college football teams, you can take out 15 at the top, and you can take out 20 to 25 at the bottom. And then of those, remaining, 198 teams, basically, that describes their thought process and the fan base's thought process.
I am really confident because I haven't seen football in 9 months.
Yeah.
And, the team addressed all of their problems and everything like that. But
I have no reason to disagree with any of this. The defense is going to be more aggressive. The team did have a great time in the weight room.
Jamal
Rule did have a really nice run in that scrimmage.
Anthony Calandria has thrown 500 college passes and has a terrible interception rate.
Is it that bad?
It's not that bad.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's not that bad.
Right.
It's notable, though.
It's funny, too, because, he wrote all of this, and yet
I don't know.
We had Florida in the college football playoff last year.
I know, yeah.
DJ Lagway. So it's even the people that recognize the traps that you were about to fall in. You still fall in the traps.
Same
That's
deal
why
every
they're
year.
traps.
I am excited for this defense to be more aggressive, though.
They will be more aggressive. As discussed, it would be hard to be less aggressive.
This is also, this is from yesterday morning from Extra Points Matt Brown. UTRGV, the Vaqueros.
University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, yes.
Rio Grande Valley. Ryan Kalkbrenner dropped 50 on him one time. Watch out. UTRGV just became the first NCAA Division I program to introduce branded electrolytes since 1965. Basically, they've come up with their own Gatorade.
Wow.
Which is awesome.
They're like chewables, though, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, no, it's a powder.
Okay.
It looks like a powder.
Right.
It says electrolyte hydration mix.
It's in a like a vitamins kind of bottle.
Exactly. So they said in their release, other universities to introduce branded electrolytes, which came in the form of sports drinks, include LSU, which had Bengal Punch in 1958, Florida State, which had Seminole Firewater in 1962. Yikes. Nebraska, Huskerade, 1964. Hold on. Florida Gatorade, 1965, and Rutgers Sport Aid in 1965. I had heard about Huskerade before, but I guess I didn't realize it was
the precursor to Gatorade.
It's like right before Gatorade happened.
George Sullivan, the trainer, basically claimed that The version that he used, researchers at Florida would sort of add on to,
Right.
was ultimately the framework of what created Gatorade.
That's a ultimate. Did you know that before Gatorade there was
Yeah.
Huskerade? Did
We
you
do
know that
talk
we
about-
created Gatorade instead?
We talk about the weight room and like what Nebraska did with off-season training and all the different ways that they were sort of an early adopter in college football. Huskerade almost never comes up.
Nobody ever
They
talks
were
about
looking to
Huskerade.
replenish electrolytes in 1964, years before they even won national title.
Why did Gatorade take off though? Why was Gatorade
They became mass produced.
why did we mass produce Huskerade?
I don't think that they were thinking about mass producing it. They were just looking to replace sweat and salt with sugar.
They should have started mass producing Huskerade, and
It
then the world
could
would
have been
have
everywhere.
Huskerade.
Instead of just being known for Kool-Aid, Huskerade could have been the official drink of the state of
There would have been a
Nebraska.
Huskerade museum.
Wow. There could have been.
There would have been a variety of different things.
There
going
could be
on.
so much NIL that could have come off of Huskerade.
Seriously, yeah,
Wow.
missed opportunity, like a long time ago. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll free ball. Max Olson will join the show as well, coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. And as always, we'd love to hear from you. 402-951-1620. We'll be back right after this on 1620 The Zone.
free balling now.
It's time for Free Balling, where the producer reads questions on things happening in the world of sports. Connor and Mike will have the answers.
Okay, it is time to hit some topics. Rapid fire, a segment we call, as Joey would say, free balling. That's not how Tom Petty said it in his song, by the way. Joey threw the G on there.
God.
Oh no!
Accountability.
Disaster!
What do we got, Joey?
Same segment.
ESPN ranked Nebraska as the easiest non-conference schedule in the country. Sorry, Indiana. Last year, the Huskers' point differential was plus 123 after a 3-0 start with Cincinnati on the schedule. Do you think Nebraska can top that with these three, with Ohio, Bowling Green, and North
Okay, so
Dakota?
what was the number?
123. So 41-point differential across 3 games. So like 41, you know what I mean? So it'd be plus 41 against all 3 teams to get to 123 exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Oh. I mean, they're not going to be favored by that much.
No. It would be remarkable.
I'm going to say no.
if they actually do this.
That really the easiest non-con in the country?
That's what they say. I think that's kind of overstated.
I mean,
but
it's not that much easier than anybody else's. Everybody else is doing the same thing.
it seems that way, but they got ranked number 1, easiest schedule non-conference.
I mean, admittedly, the FBS teams they do play are not good.
I don't
Bowling
think they
Green
can
is
get
one of the
to-
worst FBS teams.
Yeah, I don't
that we
think they can
have.
get to plus 123. I do think they'll be plus 100 though.
Okay, he's calling a shot.
Yeah.
Plus 100 at least over the first 3 games.
And I've already said they win all 3 games by 3 scores or more.
Should we set the? How about we set a points allowed total?
Okay.
Let's see if we're in the same ballpark here. If I can get this number off the top of my head. 3 games over or under. Nebraska allows 30 points.
I'm slightly over that. I'm between 30 and 40.
Okay.
That's where
I'm at
kind of where I'm
34.
at.
And the 69-0, 68-0 really helped against Akron.
no,
And they
no
they hadn't had a shutout in a long time before that.
They almost had 2. And then Zyshawn, is it Zyshawn Edwards? Was Edwards his last name?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Edwards
he
was
had
definitely
the big
something.
run for Houston Christian. to end it.
Christian. Damn. That would have been nice.
I thought Nebraska should have got him out of the portal.
30. What if I did 35?
I would take the under.
Okay. Under 35
34
points.
points allowed
34.
across 3 games. So slightly less than, it's like 11.3 points.
You're
per
going to be
game.
sweating if they pitch another shutout in the first 2 games.
No, I said that the under 35.
I say you're going to be sweating the potentially being way under.
Oh, yeah, they could be way under. I mean, if they shut somebody out, I would expect them to be way under.
Okay. I don't know if it's the easiest, but it is definitely easy. That's for sure. All right, what's next?
Preakness. You know the second leg of the Triple Crown is
Yes.
moving to a Sunday. The event is now going to be 3 weeks and 1 day after the Kentucky Derby. Will this get people more excited about the sporting event most never remembered?
No.
Yeah, I like the whole reason of doing this is that they would get, because horses have been dropping out. So you haven't had like the Kentucky Derby winner race at Preakness, which then sort of makes Preakness completely and utterly irrelevant.
Yeah, I think the horses just have to toughen up.
I just think Preakness is never going to have any real relevance.
Well, not if the horses don't toughen up.
Even if the horses get super tough. Because then
If the horses get tough, they could do the Preakness a week after the Derby, and then everybody would watch
a week after the Derby?
it. Yeah.
Whoa. You would move it up. Do you want the Derby to be the Triple Crown to be 3 weeks in a row?
Yes. People would watch it if that was the case.
I don't know.
And if that was the same, horses all 3 times, absolutely people would care about the Preakness at that point. But that's not happening because the horses are soft.
Yeah, the horses have gotten soft.
They're way soft. It's unbelievable. 3 weeks just to get more horses
I
involved.
just feel like because of how it sits in the schedule of Preakness, nobody cares. Like, you're the second leg. So even if the one that wins it runs it, you're kind of like, okay, we'll see if they win it again. But then you really care about the Belmont, and of course you mostly care about Kentucky.
That's
So
true.
no matter what, Preakness is always running third.
It's definitely the third one.
Yeah.
It's the third most
I
important.
did try to sell a buddy of mine to have his bachelor party at the Preakness one time.
But if you get everybody in horse mode, if you get everybody like, what is it? May, middle of May, last week of May?
Yeah,
first day of May, first Saturday of May
is the Derby.
is the Derby.
And then 3 weeks and 1 day later.
That is
will
a
be
perfect time. There's nothing going on.
especially with no baseball.
Just make it horse month.
Horse month.
Wow.
Okay.
What an idea.
You're making a pitch.
Think about how Matt
For me to
McMaster
be
would love it.
I mean, Matt would not be able. 3 weeks in a row, he has to give out winners. He's going to pick 47 horses.
That is true. All right. What's next?
The Los Angeles Rams had to notify the league that Aaron Donald put on a helmet the other day. Is Donald cosplaying, or should we now expect the future Hall of Fame defensive tackle to return to the NFL and join up with Myles Garrett and the rest of the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always kind of thought that he was coming back. It was just kind of a matter of when.
But you saw this, because he put a helmet on because he wanted to see how it felt.
Right.
They had to notify the league that he had a tryout.
I believe that's what they did with Cam Chancellor yesterday.
Just had him wear a helmet.
Cam Chancellor had a tryout yesterday for the Seahawks.
Okay. But it was really just him putting on a helmet.
I don't know what actually physically happened, but they had to report him on the sheet.
I am going to be watching the sheet for when Harrison Smith has a tryout with the Vikings because there are rumblings he's coming back. And I am
going to watch out.
Very excited.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought you were going to say Bob Sanders was coming back too.
No, I think Bob Sanders' time has passed.
Okay, sad. That'd be cool.
More Harrison Smith.
Get him in there for a tryout.
Good thing.
Ed Reed? Anybody want to try out Ed Reed?
If Ed Reed wanted to play again, I would sign him immediately. That guy,
I would too.
That guy would be the smartest player on the field no matter what. Even if he couldn't physically go at the level that you need him to, he would tell everyone else where to be.
Yeah.
I loved Ed Reed. Ed Reed is one of my all-time favorite of any sport ever. He was so damn good.
Ed Reed was awesome, for sure.
And he was effortlessly cool. Unlike Troy Polamalu.
I don't think Aaron Donald comes back. I've been thinking that this was going to be halfway through the season thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think he plays week one. I think he's all the way back.
Either that or he makes a decision like the week before the start of the regular season.
Hopefully it's not a Ragnow situation where he comes back and then immediately gets hurt
and retires again. Yeah. All right. What else?
Last one. In his mailbag, Stuart Mandel was asked, who face more pressure in 2026, Oregon or Texas? Both teams have come up short in the CFP. Both teams have very talented rosters. Both have high-profile quarterbacks. Mandel didn't really give a definitive answer. What say you two?
Texas.
I think it's Texas as well.
It's always Texas, right?
I think the expectation for Texas is always going to be higher than Oregon. I will say, though, if Oregon gets waxed again in the college football playoff, possibly by another Big Ten team, it's going to get a little louder. Yeah. And Phil Knight has invested a ton of money for no titles. That's the Indiana aspect of it.
Like, what has to be? I mean, Dan Lanning's not going. I mean, they're going to try all they can to keep Dan Lanning.
Probably.
Like, you don't. Like, Texas would fire Sark if they missed the playoff this year.
Right. Well, and Sark has been recycled more than Dan Lanning at this point.
Right. So, maybe all the trees block out the pressure out there.
The question sort of becomes, does Dan Lanning try to go somewhere else to stay ahead of, the pounding pressure at Oregon?
Maybe. I think on my college football video game, he ended up being the coach after Whittingham at Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe that was DeBoer.
Michigan hired Sark, who hired... the coaching carousel.
The coaching carousel got nuts.
Yeah, it's broken.
Yeah. I believe there's a patch coming through today. That
also, the preseason All-American team was all one roster.
Nice.
By the way. So
whose roster?
It was all Oklahoma.
Okay.
Awesome. It's not coached by Brent Venables anymore either.
Speaking of the NCAA, the college football video game, our dear friend Max Olson, who's coming up next, wrote a several-year simulation of the college football video game. I wonder if he thinks that any of that is going to be accurate.
Yeah.
We could ask him.
We could, and we likely will.
When he joins the show next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. 9:18 Thursday morning here on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline by our good friend Max Olson from ESPN. Good morning, Max. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. I am well. Good to be with you.
So the trips to the media days have concluded. What have we learned? What were your journeys and your travels like this media days season?
Well, yeah, it's been a busy few weeks between Big 12 media days and then Big 10 media days, and then this week I was in Nashville for the personnel and recruiting symposium.
Nice.
I assume while I've been dealing with all this stuff, I assume that they got it done up in D.C., right? Protect College Sports. Is it done? They passed it. Are we good?
I'm ignoring it. I'm ignoring that, Max. I don't.
We've
listen
made a
to
show-wide pledge that we will not discuss it until there's a reason to.
Yeah, I need to see some signed documents there before I start getting invested. No, it was a good time. I think Big Ten, obviously, the headline there was certainly Coach Sig on the stage. Puffing the chest a little bit for the conference and how any folks in the SEC are crybabies and all that. Entertained by that. Fascinating year for the conference, especially at the top.
So yeah,
I was filling out like one of those preseason polls this morning, and it's like, I guess I sort of arrive at like probably Ohio State and Oregon being 1 and 2 in my preseason poll. I think you could talk yourself into Texas and Notre Dame and others being up there, but I kind of think it's those two.
That's exactly where I was going to go with the next question. Just as far as the top of the Big Ten, everybody seems to just, place Indiana at third, and there's a reason for that. It has to do with talent and all these different things, but they did just go undefeated and win the national championship, and
with talent,
and they do have some talent on their roster, like it. And then Schaefer and I have talked a lot about Ohio State and how it just doesn't seem like they have quite as much pop. And maybe some of that is the quarterback position. I don't know. Oregon is the team that everybody looks at and says this is the year for them to potentially win a national championship. Is that about what you would think if you're to sum up those three teams? Is that the hierarchy?
I think so. And maybe we're giving, I'm just super interested to see how Josh Hoover and the new guys in Indiana come in and play up to the standard that's been set by Sig's first two teams in Bloomington. I think that they simultaneously did an excellent job of recruiting their needs in the portal, but it's also like you kind of wonder, okay, can these guys be as good as the JMU guys right away? Can this all fit together? Can they, how many of these guys are like NFL draft pick type talents, and how much of it is going to kind of be depth? I think the defense will be nasty this year, and I'm just really interested to see how Josh Hoover performs within that offense. And yes, it's not a Bryles offense anymore, and it's not about him trying to throw it all over the yard, but he's still got to be a better decision maker and take care of the football and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I think Oregon is like, it's not a now or never year for Oregon by any means, but I mean, I think we've seen the theme here of really the last 3 or 4 years. It's like when you're able to get a big group of guys to stay out of the draft and come back, like that is why Ohio State won a national title with Ryan Day. That is why Jim Harbaugh won a title at Michigan. That's why Washington went to the national title game. Like I think that's in Indiana as well. Like I think that's like the big ingredient that nobody else can really match, no matter how much money they spend. And so I think Oregon has got to get back to the Final Four and play for a national title this year with everything they got coming back and all of the 5-star blue chip talent they've got around them. But you're right. There's probably something like, maybe it's just because of saying people don't talk about Ohio State as like I think they're going to win it this year, but like man. They've got to replace a lot of star power on defense, and so maybe Oregon is a little bit of a safer pick at the moment. But you kind of trust that when you got the best player in the country and so much firepower around him, that they're going to be just fine.
Did anyone add anything as impactful as Indiana getting Stephen Daly right back with his 19.5 tackles for a loss last year, 5.5 sacks, and now he can just return to the team to play? How big of a get is that for Indiana to just have this guy that went through everything the last couple of years? You thought his career was over, and now thanks to the Colorado courtroom, you have a first-team All Big Ten defensive lineman back.
Yeah, it's massive, and I think, especially from the timing standpoint, Indiana being able to get this done really quickly is huge because I think certainly if there had been like a judge mandated portal window on August 3rd, like Stephen Daly is a guy that a lot of teams would have been throwing $1 million offers at, no doubt, just based on his body of work and the fact that like he probably should be in the NFL at this point, and so I think like. For these teams and talking to personnel people this week, like he's certainly the most impactful guy so far that has said he's coming back. I think there are other teams that are working on trying to get this stuff figured out. While we're in a kind of a gray area here where there's like probably not going to, potentially not going to be a portal, but also the NCAA is still appealing this. So we'll see if Stephen Daly is able to play this season. But, I think it's a big deal for them and it gives them a lot of depth. And I think talking to these folks, like, they look at it and say, man, like if you can get one of these guys in camp right now and like presumably they're in decent shape, like you give them August and September to get right and you've got a really high impact player when it's time to get into Big Ten play. So yeah, that's a big one for Indiana. And they added some really good edge rushers out of the portal from Kansas State this offseason, but another veteran that makes them even better.
Max, maybe I'm sort of imagining this or, thinking incorrectly about previous off seasons leading into these seasons. I always feel like there is a team that everybody looks at and says, oh yeah, they're going to win the national championship this year, or they're the national championship favorite. Do we have a consensus on that at all this year? I mean, we've talked about those 3 Big Ten teams. I feel like Texas would probably be the nominee out of the SEC, and then there's Notre Dame as well.
Yeah.
Is that the group that the national champion is going to come out of?
I think it's a great question. I think if you're doing that versus the field, you'd probably say you feel really good. I mean, maybe you could add Miami to that, I guess.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I think there's probably like a very good chance that, among those 6 teams or so, probably you're going to see maybe 3 or 4 of them in the Final Four there and playing in the semis. And so, I think that's a reflection of, even though the talent is being spread out more and more, like it's that, you've got to have, an elite QB1 and you've got to, have the funds to go get high-end players out of the portal and be able to retain your top guys. And so I think all 5 of those teams and potentially Miami too, you have to say like, yeah, they're kind of in that elite tier. And I think the interesting question, I don't know if there's one that just jumps to you if you're already on fraud watch here, but like who's the Penn State or Clemson that we are super high on that we're just dead wrong on?
Yep.
Like, is it Ole Miss taking a step back? Is it LSU? Like, it just doesn't all come together.
It's Oklahoma.
The team that has
crazy year one. It's an interesting question.
The team that has the most in common, I've said with Penn State, just as far as how it looks on the surface right now, this year is Oregon, right? I mean, hey, they were the Big Ten sort of next team up.
Right.
I don't think that's
They've
going to
been
happen.
right in the conversation, but haven't quite done. Now they did win the Big Ten title. My submission for this has been Oklahoma. Like, I just think their ability to just sort of win without offense, like John Mateer has to be good if they're going to get back to the college football playoff. I don't think they can do what they did last year.
No, he's got to be healthy and he's got to be good. They've got to be better around him because I think you saw in the second half of last season, like he had an injury to his one of his fingers, and it really affected everything about his passing. And it was just like, well, he is the whole offense though. So like we got to run through him no matter what. And so I think he's got to stay right. I think they've done a better job of building around him and stuff. But I could see that with Oklahoma, and I think I probably have a little bit more trust in Texas A&M than Oklahoma. But certainly if you watch like the lowlights of Marcel Reed, you'd say like, okay, that's a little scary. Like as talented as they are, you really need to see him take a big jump this year as well.
I want to ask you about a team that we almost never talk about. It's in a state that you used to live. It's a program that I think is poised to be potentially really good in the NIL environment. Is SMU, like if they make the college football playoff again this year, we have to kind of start changing how we talk about them, right? Like they feel like they could be a really, good team in this era of college football, given the money and the interest that's behind it, SMU football.
It's a good question, and I think that when you talk to personnel folks, I think there is a view within the ACC that Kevin Jennings is absolutely one of the best players in the conference, and maybe as much as there's all this hype on Mensa, like maybe he's the first team guy this year in that league, and I think they did a pretty good job this year going out and getting what they needed around him. I think the addition of Kendrick Rayfield, the running back from Cal, who almost had 1,000 yards last year. I think that's a big deal for them and sort of balancing out that offense. And, I think it's an interesting program, Mike, because when they went into the ACC, and obviously in doing so, they basically were like, don't give us any money. We don't care. We just want to be in the big leagues here.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered, like, our recruits in that state, especially when TCU was up and, certainly Texas and Texas A&M and Oklahoma, like, our recruits in that state going to be like, why would I want to play in the ACC and play those road games? And like, why is that appealing? But like, I think you've seen Rhett Lashley really capitalize on that move up, certainly with that first year, and really, he took the torch from Sonny Dykes there and really has grown the respect for SMU within that state. And it's not viewed as some minor league program anymore, or this one of this really weird past. Like, I think it's viewed as like, man, you can keep great players from DFW here and be really successful. And so, I'm with you. Like, I think that's probably a top 15, top 20 team in if I were doing preseason rankings, but one that I think certainly has an opportunity to win the ACC.
All right, Max. Well, we're excited to get things going, but we still have a couple more weeks of a long wait before the season starts. But we always appreciate you joining the show, and we'll talk to you next week.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Max Olson from ESPN. Also, what?
SMU opens Labor Day Monday at Florida State.
Yeah.
That is going to be an awesome game while I draft and half pay attention to a fantasy league on Labor Day for like the 8th Labor Day in a row.
Seems like everybody kind of agrees that Florida State's not going to get this thing off the ground.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
But I still need to kind of see it.
Yeah.
And it's SMU just goes and waxes them right away. There's a bunch of teams in the ACC that I'm just kind of fascinated by.
Do you want Florida State to get it going? Do you want Florida State to
I
get
don't
it
know that I care.
I think they're cool. Like, I wouldn't go as far as say, because I hate when people say this, like, college football is better when this team is good. Like,
I'd say that about Notre Dame all the time.
I think Florida State is just a cool program,
Sure.
and I like watching.
You think college football is better when they're good?
No, I like watching them play. Excuse me, in good games.
Because when they're good, it's better. You're more entertained by it.
No, I am more entertained by it
Okay.
when their fans are engaged.
Kinda
Now,
lock it
I
in.
do like seeing them be a disaster too. That's fun. I would like it to be
You
either
want the
really good
volatility
or
on
a
it.
disaster.
You want the boom and the bust.
Yeah.
The Anthony Calandria of it all.
Yeah, like
The
when
highs of the highs and the lows of the lows.
when they started the way that they started 2 years ago, that was incredible. What a great time that was.
When they lost right away to Georgia Tech on the field goal.
In Ireland, and then came back and lost to.
Yeah, last year wasn't as much fun, though. You have the immediate win against Alabama, which is like, what is this? Followed by, okay, maybe they're interesting, but they're not very good, are they? Oh, no.
They actually suck.
Oh, no, disaster against Florida in a game where Florida couldn't do anything with a fired coach.
So they have SMU in that game this year?
They start against SMU. You want Florida State's schedule?
Yeah, give it to me. Maybe
Okay.
we should pull them in the.
Do we want to say it? No, tomorrow's a group. Yeah. Do you want to just do Florida State right now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So real quickly, their schedule, they get Tony Sanchez and New Mexico State at home in a week 0. So they will have played before they play SMU.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's beneficial or not. And then they have a bye week, and then they go to Alabama, where most likely they could get wrecked. And then they have Central Arkansas. Then it's Virginia, Louisville, Miami, Clemson, Boston College, Pitt, NC State, Florida. Not brutal, but not easy.
No, going to Louisville, Miami back-to-back weeks, it's tough.
Yeah.
Virginia's tough.
That's as difficult of a 3-game stretch as one could have in the ACC.
Probably.
At Louisville, at Miami, and then home against Clemson.
Probably. Brett from Pick Six Preview says, game grader loved Florida State last year compared to their losing record. The close games and big yardage margin said FSU at number 25, despite going 5-7. Best 5-7 team in America. Norvell's cold streak is the program at pre-Bowden lows, and the pressure is mounting. It's the worst possible timing to snap his streak of top 10 transfer hauls, and they appear downgraded at almost every position group. Worst of all is the schedule draw. In addition to Alabama and Florida, in the non-con, Florida State draws 7 of the ACC's top 9 and only 1 of the bottom 8. So that is a pretty good explainer as to why no one thinks they're going to get this off the ground.
It's been fascinating talking to people over at Florida State since Tony White was hired over there. And the general, this isn't like a Tony White thing. The program as a whole has really fallen into a pit recruiting wise.
That's crazy.
Like they don't have cachet with kids in Florida.
Is it just the ACC of it? I don't know.
I think that's an element of it. Like they're kind of an also ran team and an also ran conference. Where if, in the state, Miami is cool and it's in the same conference, so you don't really want to go to Florida State.
I mean, look at what happened with the ACC. I mean, ever since Clemson's not been good anymore, the ACC is totally up for grabs. Now, Miami has always felt like Clemson actually seemed like an ACC school. Miami's always seemed like they're off on their own thing, but they happen to be in the ACC. Exactly.
Like Miami always seems like an independent. Yeah. They were never a Big East school. They were never a ACC school.
Hilariously, Miami didn't even make the conference title game last year.
Which cannot happen this year.
In this conference that we say is so much worse than Miami is, but then that ended up playing out pretty well because they made the national championship game.
Yeah.
So, weird league. They're picked 10th. In the ACC. I don't think Mike's staying around if that happens.
Probably not.
No. All right, we'll take a break. Accountability. We'll get you out of here on a Thursday on 1620 The Zone. So we figured out during the break that the Panthers and the Vikings are playing each other this year, which Joey, of course, already knew. The Panthers and the Vikings are playing each other on Sunday, December 6th, which I believe is one day following the Nebraska-Creighton game, right?
Yeah. It's going to be a real hate week.
We either have to be together the entire time or separate the entire time.
You'll have been gone the week prior because you'll be out in Vegas, I'm assuming.
It's unfortunate
Yeah.
because
And so you'll be back, and we'll just have to immediately jump into hate week or something.
That's going to be nuts.
it's unfortunate I'm not going to be here for this because I'm going to be out in Colorado for that weekend of December.
That whole week?
Yeah.
I don't know what particular days. My mom's celebrating her 60th birthday, so I'm going to be out.
Whoever's
there for
going to be
that.
filling in for you is going to be like, wow, these guys hate each other.
Yeah, Jake's going to have
We're going to be
a
getting
rude
fights.
awakening.
They play it. If you want to go, they play at 3:30 on that Sunday. It'd just be a very, very, very long day.
I don't think we can pull it off.
Or you can do the show from Minnesota.
That we can do.
Minnesota.
Let's get it sponsored. We'll do the show from Minnesota.
We could do
Get
the
it
show from.
sponsored by
I mean,
Sleepy Joe.
we could hit up a radio station or something like that. Like, hey, can we use your studio?
Sure.
And then poor Joey will be back, or Jake, or whoever it is, will be back here on the next Monday. Like, I'm just sitting alone in this room.
We're doing the show from Minnesota. and
Okay,
then
that'd
we're
be
driving
awesome. I
back
would love
together.
to. I've never been to an NFL game.
Okay.
Wow.
We can look into this.
And then all three of us will have seen the Panthers this year.
there's
That's
a
true.
world where both of these teams are terrible at
Uh-huh.
this particular time, and that game could be like a $12, ticket.
I'm excited about that potential already.
I'm just glad Schaefer did not invite me for a Packers Vikings game because I would
Joey, I would never invite you
politely
for a
say
Packers
no.
Vikings
Nobody
game.
wants to.
Would never want to watch a Packers Vikings game with any human, let alone a human.
I was
rooting for
forced
the
to
Packers.
watch Packers Bears with Matt McMaster because Creighton happened to play on almost all the times the Packers Bears played each other.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I appreciated it.
If two people didn't kill each other watching a football game, then I think we'll be fine.
Oh yeah, I'm genuinely not worried about us.
I get pretty fired up about my Panthers.
Yeah,
so.
you do.
You know how I am with my
I
guys.
watched you watch the Panthers, where you spent most of your time watching Josh Allen.
Well, I do like Josh Allen more than the Panthers. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for accountability.
So Matt McMaster came in the studio before the last break, as he usually does, and he was excited to show off his cool Panthers shirt because he got it from like Evan Cooper or something like that. I don't know. He always loves to tell us that it's Evan Cooper's shirt, and he asked me if I wanted Evan Cooper's pants.
He offered you someone else's pants.
Yeah.
Wasn't Evan Cooper's pants.
Oh yeah, Jake Pete's.
Jake Pete's.
It's like, no, I don't want.
You're like, do you want some Pete's
It's
pants?
like, no, I don't want any Panthers pants.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, though? I kind of am interested in some Panthers gear. Like, I should do this. I should really commit to it this year. So I hit up my dear friends at Fanatics, and I have come away with a shirt and a hat.
Yeah.
Because this is their accountability. They did free shipping on orders that were exactly $39 or more, but the shirt itself costs exactly $38.99. So then you have to make the decision on whether you want to pay for shipping on one item, which is an extra $12. So a $50 single t-shirt, or a $80 t-shirt plus hat. And Schaefer is like, well, you know me. You know
You
what
gotta
I
get
would
the
do.
hat.
And
So
I
I
go,
helped him pick out the
He
hat.
helped me pick out a hat. And now I will be the proud owner of a Panthers shirt and hat with a rope.
Yeah.
Starting in just a week or so.
So does this
You technically saved $11 on that hat.
I'm proud of myself.
So does this mean like when Schaefer is gone, you're gonna ask Austin to show up in his Panthers gear, and then it's gonna be a Panthers?
That's a great
morning
idea.
show?
That's a great idea.
Wow.
I should probably get Austin to fill in next week.
A Panthers prowl.
It's a Panthers powwow.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to think of what it would be with a couple Panthers get together, but
There's
I think
got to be a podcast called
they're
the
kind of
Panthers
like
Powwow.
famously solo animals, right? Like there's not like a pack of Panthers.
Pack of Panthers, Panther
I don't
pack.
think they're like a pack animal.
No, I don't think they really roll like that.
Yeah.
They're by themselves. Didn't we previously come up with a fake name for a fake Panthers podcast on this show?
I don't recall
I
that.
don't
I
remember.
wish that I did.
We happened upon something a long time ago, and then
we
we're
have
like,
happened upon many
We
things.
should call a podcast that, and then we forgot about it entirely. Buff Scorpion writes in, buying a gear that you for a team you don't cheer for is so lame. Buff Scorpion, I cheer for the Panthers.
One of the biggest Panthers fans out there.
I am a Panthers fan.
He's one of the 2 biggest Panthers fans.
I don't cheer
in
for any other teams
Omaha.
except for just Josh Allen and the Allen family.
And like I said, I just happened to catch you on a day where Josh Allen was taking on the Panthers.
Yeah.
And it was a conflicted day.
That's a tough day. Tough day. All right. Anybody else have any? So my accountability is I spent $80 on a t-shirt and a hat.
Yeah.
My accountability is not following Josh Peterson on Twitter with the Happer and Schaefer Twitter account. I totally forgot about that.
What do you mean? You unfollow? You unfollowed?
You
No, but
never followed.
He was never followed.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I think
I think he's got a good reason.
I
here,
think
though.
I have a good idea why that.
I have a
is.
definite idea why.
something to do with the morning show
Correct.
before.
Yes.
Because
Oh.
I think Josh Peterson was blocked before, so I think I am.
There's
blocked
also
him.
this. His Josh Tweederson account has been suspended 85 times.
That's true.
It doesn't have anything to do with
when
that.
you
though.
initially could have, he may not have existed, in which case you'd have to follow at Posh Jeterson.
Yeah.
So
I
you know,
remember that day when
not that such an account still exists.
I remember the day we found out what his burner account was. Just look for stuff
It's not like he
about
was
the Dallas
hiding.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, it was under a different name, and yet you had to just look through and see what what accounts follow the Dallas Cowboys.
People have actual burner accounts for Twitter.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I
He's
know. I
huge.
understand that people actually do, but it still just strikes me as odd. I'm willing to let you know my idiotic thoughts from my own account at all times, even if you're not interested in it.
That's nice.
I was celebrating the Guardians finally got rid of my least favorite player on the team that's been on the team for like the last 4 years.
Yes.
And every day I've just waited for the magical 3 letters of DFA followed by the name Gabriel Arias. And it finally happened yesterday. And I was thrilled. It was unbelievable.
Is this your accountability or is this the Guardians' accountability?
Well, it has nothing to do with accountability.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention it. Anyways, my accountability, forgot my muff yesterday, which is annoying for not for the show, but I always forget to take it with me
You
after
do.
the show.
You do.
And then right before free ball, and I didn't turn my microphone on.
You did.
Those are probably the primary accountable things that I need to be held to.
Nick from St. Louis writes in, you're not a real Panthers fan. I've been listening to you for years and have never known that. A real Panthers fan would have let that be known. I'm not sure that that's true.
You've never heard this man talk about Bryce Young?
Yeah, I have an enhanced sense of Bryce Young.
Well, going back to the chat, they were talking about Matt. He Buff Scorpion.
That was Buff Scorpion, yeah.
yeah.
Which he didn't buy the gear. It was given to him by some sort
But
of
he wears other team stuff all the time.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
does
he
buy
worked-
And
Yeah,
other
Celtics
actually
teams.
gets
had a
mad
while
when
ago.
people pointed out that it's not his team.
He
So continue to point it out, please.
Matt
Also-
gifted me my Celtics hoodie.
One more thing before we let you go. Here's Corey who tweeted in at on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. He has arrived in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is a Tree City, USA.
Let's go!
So
Wow.
and it's also a Bee City, USA.
Wow.
So if you ever go inside of a town
Bees and trees.
and you see a sign
our
that
city
says
of the
Tree
day.
City, USA, please send us a picture.
Yeah.
This is a great bit.
Great new bit.
Thank you to Corey for sending it our way. We appreciate it. If you missed anything today, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Crossover is coming up next.